With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
On its face, tonight looks pretty normal for the Precision Racing League on a Wednesday night. Trucks at Darlington under the lights. Certainly a challenge, but par for the course. But after 40 minutes of truck racing at Darlington, we're going to travel a couple thousand miles across the Atlantic Ocean, from South Carolina to Belgium, from Civil War battlefields to World War II battlefields, as the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series takes on the Spa as a wild card road course round this season. But first, welcome to round 4 of 2023 for the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, live from the virtual Darlington Raceway. And later on, round 4 of the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series, live from the virtual Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. You heard that correctly. Hi everybody, my name is Joey Tebben. With me in the booth over there is Terry Radford, and behind the scenes is our producer, Hugo Luis. Terry, we've been very excited for Spa all season long since the schedule was released. We got to hold our horses here because we got Darlington coming up first. And that's a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah, putting trucks at Darlington. It's been a tough schedule so far for that truck series to come over into this racetrack to actually see what they could do with the track too tough to tame. But it's Spa night. I'm looking past Darlington. I'm looking past this egg-shaped oval. I'm going to the tight turns to see what the Xfinity guys, who are the Pro League in the Wednesday night show. I wouldn't have missed this for the world.
Nobody is going to want to miss this race. And after this, Monza coming up for the Xfinity Series, Indianapolis coming up for the Xfinity Series. But in the Truck Series, it's also going to be pretty crazy. Charlotte Motor Speedway coming up next week, but that is not the modern scan of Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going back in time to the older scan of Charlotte. Then, of course, Talladega. That sells itself, basically, the first of 2 super speedway races this season, as we'll go to Daytona in a couple of weeks' time. Las Vegas and Rockingham kind of finishing out the off-schedule part of the season. And then, as I mentioned, we do get to Daytona. We start lining up with the real-life NASCAR Truck Series schedule, and we end with a championship finale at Auto Club Speedway on the first day of March. We had an Auto Club finale last season. That was exciting enough, and I'm personally pretty happy that we're about to do it again. Your championship leader in the PRL NASCAR Truck Series currently is William Hartman, your winner from Most Sport a couple of weeks ago. But critically, Mr. Hartman not in the field tonight here at Darlington. Had to miss the race this week, and that kind of opens things up. Reese Bogue, the winner of the opening race of the season, currently second in the championship. Dallas Sullivan, the epitome of consistency, and Aren Gamushtal sits in fourth after getting his first win at Hickory last week. Alan Dice and Steve Loving fighting over that last spot in the top 5, and then Oliver Goff, Zach Panzarella, Jacob Emery, and Mr. Dalton Geyer round out the top 10 in the drivers' standings. The team standings still pretty close up top, as well as Loaded Dice Racing Very consistent, holding the top of the sheets right now is Regan Bogue Motorsports with Reese Bogue and Colton Easterday try and fight up forward. Love Racing sits third, only 2 points above Bull Creek Racing, only 1 point above DDI Motorsports All Day, only 1 point above Consult Info. Whataback Racing Speedworks has had a struggled start to the season. They're in P7. Luff Apex Racing, only one driver for them with Eren Gamushtal. The other DDI Motorsports squad every day is in 9th, and the Gold Octopus Motorsports winning in the name championship, not quite winning in the points championship just yet. Qualifying currently underway here at Darlington. We're in the dying minutes of qualifying, but before we can go any further, we must thank all the people who make this possible every single week. First and foremost, it's the VCO, the virtual competition organization, helping us out here at RaceSpotTV and helping make every single Precision Racing League broadcast possible this season. This coverage is also brought to you by Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 coupon code. This coverage is also brought to you by Racebox Sim Racing. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit raceboxsimracing.com and also get a 5% discount, also using the Precision5 coupon code. PRL NASCAR Truck Series coverage is also brought to you by RaceLab apps. RaceLab helps you to improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. And from RaceLab, we come to the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products provide an incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with the Butt Kicker. And new for this season, it's Mecha Sim Hardware. Mecha Sim Hardware is a small company from the Czech Republic, and their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for a high-end pedal set, handbrake, or sequential shifter, visit Mecha Sim Hardware's eShop right now to get you up to speed and check them out. And last but not least, it is NinjaTrader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Of course you are. Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. NinjaTrader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator. Start tracking your performance. Well, as we finish tracking the performance of the drivers, we're actually already ready to grid here at Darlington, and I can reveal that who else but Reese Bogue will start from the pole this season. His second pole position of the season, if I do remember correctly. But alongside him, it is our defending pole sitter and our defending winner, Eren Gamushtal. He starts on the outside of the front row. Kevin McGarvey and Patrick Cowgill trying to turn the Whataback Racing season around on row 2. Chris Justice and Alan Dice round out row 3. Zach Panzarella ahead of our practice leader, Matt Karakoff, Austin Hunter, and Richard Pruitt round out the top 10. Steve Loving starts 11th alongside Dallas Sullivan, the second of the Loaded Dice Racing drivers, and Colton Easterday, unlucky 13th alongside Jeremy Bailey. Robert Goff, the lead Goff, alongside Joey Reynolds. Thomas Brendel beats the second Goff, Oliver Goff, on row number 9. 19th place went to Cole Larson alongside a late addition to practice, Tom Amasi. And then we start getting into drivers who were a little bit naughty last week, disallowed from qualifying for causing cautions at Hickory. Stephen Hassett, Garrett Austin, Dalton Geyer, Keith Miller, Jacob Emery, CM Punk Pennington, and Dylan Schmidt, all disallowed from qualifying this week due to bringing out cautions last week. Adam Smith was allowed to qualify this week, but he has simply elected not to. He will start shotgun on the field. A 28 truck field here at Darlington under the lights, Terry. And we're about to get another Wednesday night kicked off.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the best truck races. I know I said that last week, and I said it the week before, but I mean it this week. If we can keep this thing green, if we keep the trucks out of the wall, which is not going to happen, they're going to smack it 2 or 3 times. If we keep trucks spinning. But the wonderful thing about the Darlington Speedway is the racing line is so small that it's going to take an absolute pileup in turn 1 or turn 3 to get a caution to come out to block this racing surface.
You may have noticed a critical absence in the field there. Of course, as I mentioned, William Hartman not in the field tonight. Just heard from one of his teammates before the race started. Hartman has to miss tonight. He will be back, I do believe, for the rest of the season, but this is going to be his off week. You do get 1 drop week in the Precision Racing League. You get your worst result dropped, unfortunately for Hartman, that means he can't afford to have any more bad weeks because he is dropping a 0-point week. Any other bad finish he has this season will be counted, and it will count against him because his rivals, Reese Bogue and Aren Gamushtal, start on the front row here, and they are both very, very interested and very, very keen to pick up on all those points. But if you remember last week, it was a duel between Gamushtal and Bogue all race long. There were multiple short restarts, multiple short stints. Bogue couldn't quite do anything. He threw everything at Gamushtal at the final corner, but right now, he's got the advantage. The iRacing sedan pace car pulls onto pit road for the first and maybe only time at Darlington. Reese Bogue leads us to green. The green number 4 brings us to the race at Darlington. Lap completed Darlington. It was a great start from Bogue, beat Gamushtal off of the line, and Gamushtal had nothing for him and down the back straight. Through the rest of the field, looks fairly trouble-free. There may have been a little bit of a moment into the turn 2 wall for Dylan Schmidt around the back of the field, but other than that, we have stratified out. We are single file, and Matt Karikoff looks to move his way forward.
Yeah, he was the leader in practice, so I would be surprised to see what Karikoff does here. Race trim in practice is totally opposite. So you can go out there and lay that quick time down. It might not have really, went to that side when it came to qualifying. Just look up here at Kevin McGarvey in the 77 machine. Very, very good starting spot. Obviously, he started up here in that 3rd place position. Gives him an opportunity to see what Gamushtal and Reese Bogue does. If they get too racy up here, maybe gives him a spot if they catch the wall to go up here and steal one.
Kevin McGarvey was definitely one of those drivers we looked at coming into the season, not just because he's racing with Whataback this season, but because in the Truck Series last season, when it was still the combined series, when the drivers of this series and the higher level drivers, so to speak, in the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series were racing together, Kevin McGarvey had a bunch of good runs. He was running in the top 10. He showed so much promise, had a little bit of bad luck. So when we saw him coming back for this season, we knew he was going to be competing for wins. And at least for the moment, we may only be 2 minutes and about 2 miles into this race, but Kevin McGarvey is showing up to that promise.
Yeah, and I mean, you look who's right behind him, Patrick Calgo. I don't want to jinx him. What a massive block from Reese Bogue there. That could have got hairy this early in the race. We're 5 laps in, and we're already ready to throw blocks. That's how much track position means here. If you lose the lead at Darlington, it's very hard to get it back. Just in this 5-lap run, we're already seeing time start to fall off a good substantial amount. They ran their fastest lap time there, but they're going to come across this line here. The tires are already hot. The leader's loose. Second's loose. Third's loose. Everybody in this field's fighting the same condition. It's just loose.
Reese Bogue 0.2 slower than his fastest lap. Gamushtal 0.3 slower than his fastest lap. But again, it's a great exit off a 2 for Aren Gamushtal in the 21. He's finally got the bumper to the inside of Reese Bogue. Side by side into turn 3. Gamushtal's finally got a shot at Bogue. And for the first time tonight, the lead changes. Gamushtal makes the move on Reese Bogue, but Bogue's going to fight back down the front straight. A little bit loose from Gamushtal. He's going to stay clear in the lead.
Yeah, and right there for Bogue, getting past on the low side, that has to be a little disheartening because in 3 and 4 you're able to hold the throttle just a little bit more off that exit. 1 and 2 you can feather it quite a bit, but 3 and 4 that outside, if you wash it up just a bit, you hear it here in the 21. He slides down, goes all the way up against that wall, and then works it back down into the middle to get a really good run off the exit to block all 3 lanes at the same time. That's right there to potentially make a run at you. For these drivers, I mean, we're already seeing a 4 to 5 tenths of a second get dropped on lap time. So these tires are really not where they want to be. As you look here at Alan Dice and Patrick Calgo fighting for that 4th place position.
This is the first real tire-saving challenge drivers have had this season. We kicked the season off at Michigan, we went to Most Sport, we went to Hickory. Of course, tire saving, an important deal at a road course, but this is the first time on the ovals that you've really needed to exercise your tire-saving capabilities. We ride on board with Alan Dice here, and we look in the Alan Dice basement. I can only assume that is a basement with the amp behind him. And this is actually on board with Chris Justice. I already forgot what Chris Justice looked like after seeing him last week, unfortunately. It's Chris Justice's amp, and Chris Justice looks to the back of Alan Dice.
Yeah, we see right here. I mean, he has a very good bird's eye view of what's going on in front of him. Just poised, calm, cool, and collective. I still wonder what he plays musical instrument-wise. He's got the 2 amps right there. There are a lot of speakers. Maybe he's listening to us through those speakers. That 52 looks really sporty here this afternoon, but he's letting the top 5 get away from him. I don't know if maybe he's just back there riding, pacing it, biding his time. But that time by, he's got top 5 speed. He was actually faster than Kevin McGarvey up there, who's sitting in 3rd. He was about a 100th of a second. But you don't want to be too cautious if you let Karakov and Panzarelli get up there and get around you.
I like to believe that amp is for an electric tambourine. Just really amplify those percussive sounds. I think Chris Justice is indeed Mr. Tambourine Man. Austin Hunter has fallen to Steve Loving out of the top 10 here. Dallas Sullivan on the scene as well. Austin Hunter switched down into the Truck Series last week. Didn't make the best debut at Hickory, not necessarily by his own doing. Had a little bit of bad luck. Ended up in the pit lane, actually, going a lap down under one of the cautions. But he is attempting to get his footing back here in the Truck Series. He's got Dallas Sullivan fighting quite hard to his inside, though. Into turn 1, Sullivan's not going anywhere. Hunter's going to be clear. He'll hang on to 11th.
And you saw a little bit of looseness at the rear end of that thing as you dove on board with him and on the car or on the truck and in person here with the traffic control back there, or the established traffic control.
Is that a glow-in-the-dark shirt on Austin Hunter?
No, I think it's just really green, or maybe a good yellow. Oh, he knows we're watching. It matches the gloves. I mean, he's got the light up headset on. He knows we're on him. He knows we're talking about him. And I'll give you the best piece of advice, buddy. Take it easy in 1 and 2. Take it easy in 3 and 4. Get a top 10 in here. Go past Steve Loving. Go past all. We love you too. Go past all them up there. Show us why you dropped to the trucks.
Austin, if you're listening to us, make a hard right into the wall if it's a glow-in-the-dark shirt.
Oh, don't do that just yet. Just wait till the last lap.
Up front, by the way, as we stare at Austin Hunter's shirt, there it is. Gamushtal and Reese Bogue were absolutely going at it for the lead. They've resolved it for the moment. Bogue has had to hop back into second. Gamushtal almost gets the wall off of turn 2, but these two are not done. Bogue is all over the back of Gamushtal for the lead again.
Yeah, he is. I mean, lap time wise, you're sitting here watching it up and down. Graham Gamustal's kind of fell off quite a bit. His fastest was a 29.9. He was right there on the back bumper of that 4, challenging for the lead for 3 laps straight. Got the lead on lap 4. Hasn't looked back, but his lap times have kind of faltered just a little bit. That time he was a 10th faster, but that's also because Reese Bogue had to check up quite a bit for the 21 of Graham Gamustal. He just had to back up just a tad bit, had to further the throttle. And now we're going to see what does the 4 have, because remember when I said early, if you lose the lead here, it's very hard to get it back, especially 15 laps into the run.
Look at who's slowly but surely moving his way onto the scene. As these two fight, the fastest driver on track is Patrick Cowgill right now. It's going to be a 3-truck battle for the lead here, as Kevin McGarvey's kind of fallen off. He's lost out to Alan Dice, but as Bogue and Gamushtal get closer, Patrick Cowgill slowly inches forward in the foreground.
Yeah, and I'm kind of worried back here too. If you look at what the 77's had issues with, he's been very, very loose. He's been on edge all the way through. I don't know if he's caught the seam here in these corners. But another person that's fell off, we were on board with him just a little while ago, it's Chris Justice. He just ran a 31 flat, and the time before that was a 31.8. It was one of the slowest lap times we've seen all race long. I mean, we're 17 laps into this race, and we're already seeing drivers. You see this off of the exit of 2, slipping and sliding. But way to go as we look at the battle between Karakov, who, once again, fastest in practice, making a move on Alan Dice. But for Patrick Cowgill, he's got to do something tonight.
Disappointing qualifying from Karakov. Dice tries to go for the switchback, but Karakov will hang on. for the last spot in the top 5. He'll look forward to Kevin McGarvey, but there is Mr. Cowgill, very focused. Looks like a little bit of a Ryan Newman stance with the steering wheel, kind of hunched over, grabbing the wheel, but it's working for him.
Yeah, that's I had heard that one. He kind of looks like Ryan Newman too, the old Rocket Man. We need him to show a little rocket fuel tonight, to pull a little Michael Waltrip back in the day. Maybe get DQ'd. His caution's out.
And the caution is out. Joey Reynolds and Tom Amasi hops onto the scene in the Genesee number 05 truck, but Joey Larson was the first driver into the wall. I didn't think that would bring out the caution because he was on the apron, so to speak, but that tells me that there was a little bit more than meets the eye there. We'll load up the Panopticon to see what happened, but Joey Reynolds in trouble, Tom Amasi in trouble, and I believe the other driver involved was the 85 of Oliver Goff. He got into trouble a couple of weeks ago, or actually that may have been his fellow Goff, Robert Goff, but either way, caution comes out about 10 minutes in. That's probably going to make some of those drivers like Chris Justice pretty happy. A long run was not going to be good for them. The tires were already starting to fall off. Now we rack things back up, and I have to imagine everybody's going to pit here.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can go one lap around this place, you're pitting. It honestly just looked like the caution came out, not because, as we take a look at the replay, you see the 37 there. Right off it, too. And you know what's crazy?
Oh, my God.
That's why the caution came out. My boss, Sam, he's actually watching. He messaged me, and I'm telling you, if we had a camera on me, turn 2 called it. It was all he said. Turn 2 called it. The moment the wreck happened, he was like, I guarantee you it was turn 2. So that's pretty impressive. He called what it was going to happen. The turn 2's a bugger. It's got a little bump right there off the exit.
After we get through the pit cycle here, I hope we can see another replay of the Oliver Goff flight. Here it is. Has there ever been a more Tom Amasi thing, though? We're focused on Oliver Goff flying through the air here. But is there a more Tom Amasi thing to happen than have a truck land on you and take you out? This guy can't escape the bad luck, whether it's X, Y, or Z. There's going to be a truck coming out of the sky, and Tom Amasi can't escape it.
That's kind of the same way with Mark Kalin. I know he's out there in the chat. And, you know, sure enough, that happens to him. I mean, we're going to see something at Spa that we really have never seen. I mean, we're going to see an Xfinity car barreling it off into turn 1 at the most crazy thing. Look at here's Tom Amasi's on board, and then, well, bam, son, that's in your face.
It's really hard to get on the brakes to avoid an accident when the car is coming from the sky.
I mean,
it's like we were always thinking about X and Y in racing, but Tom Amasi had to think about the Z.
Well, cloudy with a chance of falling race trucks is what we could call it. This could be dubbed of the race with a flying race truck. Took one singular driver out.
Well, that is.
It's not funny.
I believe that's leading in the standings for highest driver this season. We were going to give out an award for the Rocket Man last season, driver who got the physically highest in a race. I think Oliver Goff is definitely leading those standings right now. That's definitely a solid 20, 30 feet. He was higher than some houses there. But we are ready to go racing here in a matter of moments here. Lights should go off on the pace car in a matter of moments, or with one more lap to go here. But Gamushtal did win the race off pit road over Respoke. No changes there. Patrick Cowgill stays in 4th. Kevin McGarvey is back up into 4th, by the way. Patrick Cowgill 3rd. I misspoke. Matt Karakoff, P5. Alan Dice, Steve Loving, Chris Justice, Zach Panzarella, and Austin Hunter will be the top 10 once we come to the restart. Dylan Schmidt currently in the pits getting damage repaired. Adam Smith currently in the pits getting damage repaired. Oliver Goff has just landed from space. He's in the pits getting damage repaired. Joey Reynolds is out of the race and out of the session, I believe. And Tom Amasi also getting some damage repaired, but the lights should be out on the iRacing sedan pace car this time. We'll be ready to go again for 26 more minutes of racing.
Yeah, I don't think damage repair is going to fix any of those trucks. I would be packing it. I would be tuning in to RaceSpotTV and catching all the great action here on this network for iRacing. But this race isn't over by a long shot. I mean, we see the Fast 2 trucks so far as the 21 and the 4. I think the 31 and the 00 is going to have something to say about this win before it's over.
Getting some flashbacks to last week at Hickory. Gamushtal starting on pole on every single one of those restarts. Bogue could never match him, but we are at a place where it is far easier to actually race the driver in front of you than Hickory was. We saw Gamushtal pass Bogue for the lead. Can Bogue do the same in reverse here? We are ready to go racing at Darlington here. The iRacing sedan pace car crawls through turns 3 and 4. It will pull off onto the vast apron, and Gabriel Loren Gamushtal will have a familiar sight in front of him, a clean track, and the rest of the field behind him. The green flag in the hands of Barney the Flagman, and for the second start of the night, Gamushtal leads us to green.
Oh!
Stephen Hassett clipping the wall in the background. Looks like we got away with it. Colton Easterday may have had a little bit of trouble through 1 and 2 as well, but Stephen Hassett kicking some dust right up into our camera there. Other than that, looks like it's clean and green through the rest of the field. Reese Bogue challenging Gamushtal side by side a little bit further back. Austin Hunter and Steve Loving going at it. Hunter's going to fall to Steve Loving for P9, and Reese Bogue tries to pounce early.
Yeah, we see here at Steve Loving, he actually got around Austin there and was able to move on. But good spot so far for Steve. And we say this every week, and I feel like we've repetitively said this, but I know he watches these shows. I know he goes back and watches the broadcast. He messaged me the other day and said, Terry, I want to win. He's like, I've done everything I could possibly do to go get one, and the season's not over. And the message back to him is, go win. There's so many tracks that he raced well on last season, and we kept going. Oh, I can't wait to see Steve Loving come back and race in the Truck Series. I know he's going to win one of these races. He's got the speed. Everything we've done together, he's ran well in. I want to see that 27 win. And I honestly think if we're looking at places that potentially he could win at, I think he could win the season finale. I think he could win Auto Club if he just managed his tires and just stayed patient through the whole race.
Might be trying to manage battery power right now in the Ryobi truck. A little bit further ahead, Matt Karikoff doing Matt Karikoff things to the inside of Alan Dice again. He made this move before. Dice got back by him, but Karikoff trying to show off that long run speed here. The inside into turn 4. Not able to stay alongside, though. That's actually going to put him under pressure from Chris Justice for the moment. But Matt Karikoff is showing a lot of speed here. And if he does want to compete for this win, he's going to need to pass Alan Dice pretty quick. Further ahead, Bogue and Gamushtal continue to get as close as they've ever been, but every time we do peak up there, it just all falls apart. I should stop mentioning them. I'm cursing them as the caution is out, and we've got more trouble. Garrett Austin destroys the wall. Nowhere to go for Richard Pruitt there, and I believe Jacob Emery involved as well. I'm amazed that Garrett Austin's truck is still rolling right now. It's smoking quite a bit, but that is a surprise that engine still works. That was a head-on impact into the wall.
It looks like it's smoking a pack of Marlboros at a Waffle House at 3 a.m. It's a bad time for the 34 machine. Turn 2 strikes again as we look at the replay here. Oh, we just
CM Pennington.
He just turned him.
Oh, and then Richard Pruitt comes onto the scene, tries to get it slowed down. And speaking of Waffle House, Garrett Austin just got waffle stomped.
I was about to say, if the leaders come in and the 31 stays on this racetrack, I am going to just not get in trouble for what I would have said of why that 31 stayed out if everybody else walks it down pit road. But they faked it. They're only 8 laps in this stint. I'm just kind of surprised. Maybe a late breaking point there for the 44 compared to the trucks around him, but man, that was weird.
Unfortunately, old CM Punk Pennington, he had a penalty this week because he brought out a caution at Hickory last week, disallowed from qualifying. Unfortunately, he may get the same penalty for next week, but it'll be it'll be a far less penalizing penalty, I think, to be disallowed from qualifying at Charlotte than it is here. Lucky Dog attempting to come high. Alan Dice opens the door. That is Jacob Emery, I believe, who is very heavily damaged. No, that's Adam Smith who gets the Lucky Dog. He was one of those drivers who was in the pits under the last caution, getting 4.5 minutes of repairs. But Adam Smith gets the wave around. He's 5 laps down now. He's going to pick up all the pieces you can. Points pay all the way down in this series in the Precision Racing League. Adam Smith says, you know what? I want to finish 22nd instead of 25th.
Well, I mean, that's the move to have. I know I need to get my butt in gear if I actually want to be able to race tomorrow. I've kind of really haven't had time to sit down and pull the old steering wheel out. I'm surprised I'm calling it, but yeah, Spa is really why I'm here. I want to be honest with all these truck drivers. If it was just Darlington on the docket, I'd be like, I might take the night off. But then I remembered, it's Spa night. And I turned 10 laps around Spa. 5 of them were awful. 5 of them I went through the grass. I hit the tire barrier. I went every which way but the racetrack. But the last 5, that was the most fun I have ever had on iRacing, was those cars at Spa. I don't know what that track does, but it's just... it's everything you ever wanted. It's all the way across one of the best tracks on iRacing.
I deliberately didn't do any C-Fix races at Darlington last week when I saw it on the schedule, because I know that me plus Darlington in a truck, Joey Tebbin was going to look a lot like Joey Reynolds did there, because that turn 2 wall, every single time, it just turns me into a pancake. This place and I do not get along. I am personally very glad that I'm up here instead of in the field, and the lights are out on the iRacing Sedan Pace Car, so we are ready to go racing here once again in about a minute's time. 18 minutes to go. Should be good to get to the end, and Gamushtal will lead us to another restart here. RaceSpoT going to try his best to be back on offense, and Patrick Cowgill, frankly, I think is just hoping that we get a long run to the end, because that's where he really showed promise in the first stint.
Yeah, that and the 00, but I'll give you a couple tips around this place. Turn 1, you want to float that thing in, get a little bit of brake, slow it down, about 10, 15 mile an hour, let the thing go to the bottom, wash it back up to the wall, swoop it back down, get the exit. Go down the back straightaway, go to 3, hard on the brakes, let that thing plant, and just sailor all the way around the top and keep it off the wall. But the high side is the right side. That's where you want to be. And right now with Graham Gumustal on the bottom, he's got an opportunity to take off here and hold that 4 of RaceSpotT behind him.
The iRacing Sedan Pace Car back on pit road once more. Gabriel Arendt-Gamushtal back in the lead of the field once more. The green flag is back out at Darlington, and we're green once more. Gabriel Arendt-Gamushtal, a good restart from him once more. A good restart for Bogue as well. And the rest of the field's kind of left in the dust as Colton Easterday is around on the front straight. Trouble between him and Zach Panzarella. No caution yet. We're still green, but Panzarella and Colton Easterday having a little bit of an argument there on the restart. That was Dalton Geyer, by the way, not Zach Panzarella. Those 2 trucks look exactly the same, but Dalton Geyer and Colton Easterday both collected, and no caution's going to come out to save them.
Nobody touched the racing surface. Nobody touched the race line there. It's the first time nobody crossed those dotted white lines down there on the bottom in the corners. Fight still on for that race lead as the 4's there. He peeked underneath, said, nope, ain't going to do it. Trying to get the run here. This has been an epic fight as they're sliding.
There was a huge drift from RaceSpotT there. That looked a little bit like the last lap from Hickory last week, just sending it in full drift, full sideways. But Bogue is getting aggressive early on. I think there was a little bit of a wall tap a little bit further back, maybe from McGarvey, but there is a hornet's nest back here as Robert Goff tries to pass Zach Panzarella, who is alive right now, unlike his teammate Thomas Brendel, having the race of his season so far in P13. As I say that, he gets in the wall. I'm sorry, Thomas Brendel.
Yeah, that's your fault. That's 1,000% on you. He's not going to send you a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos for Christmas, so best of luck for you.
I think I'm happy about that. I'm not the biggest flaming hot Cheeto fan in the world. I'm not the biggest Cheeto fan in the world, actually, at all. But if Cheetos do want to sponsor this series, I fully welcome the fine people at Frito-Lay and the fine people at RaceSpotTV. The fine people at RaceSpotTV. I don't know what that transition was, but he's trying to transition into the lead. He's transitioning up to the top, and I think he did just barely graze the wall there. There was a little bit of a Darlington stripe.
Well, they're transitioning stripes there. I'm transitioning to a new store, Take 5 in Pooler, Georgia. We get to open that bad boy tomorrow, so I'll transition from here back to manager person, back up there for a nice double tomorrow, and try to have a good time. But this is the fight I was looking for right here. The 21, the 4, and the 31. I want to see the 00 get clear. If you see I forgot Matthew. I'm going to completely forget his last name. If I see him get clear and I see him sitting fourth on a restart and we have the 4 drivers that I honestly think can go up here and put a challenge for this, this will be fantastic. I mean, he was fastest in practice, did not have the qualifying, and just has not.
Whoa, Jeremy Bailey behind Stephen Hassett points it straight, or rather gets pointed straight by the rest of the field behind him. Dylan Schmidt kind of acted as a straightener there. No caution once more. But there was a hornet's nest of drivers back there, and they all managed to find a way to come together. Dylan Schmidt trying to recover CM Pennington on the outside. Thomas Brendel attempting to recover from that mistake. Something tells me we may not have seen our last caution.
So what you're telling me now is Hugo's jinxed one. You've jinxed one. So I haven't yet. Here we go. Race
Here
lead.
comes
There goes the
RaceSpotTV.
4. Let's go.
Does Gamushtal get in the wall? Gamushtal does get in the wall. Bounces off the wall through 3 and 4. Well recovered. Doesn't look like he's especially damaged on the right side of that truck, but he absolutely faded up into the wall. RaceSpotTV finally gets back to the inside, and RaceSpotTV finally takes the lead back.
That looked a little bit like maybe he scared him on the high side. I'm not gonna say it. That was a bit of oh crap moment. You had the 4 underneath you. You both were going to make it through the corner. Maybe he just got a little rambunctious and caught that gas just a split second too soon. Pulled himself up the racetrack, popped that wall real quick. Got one of many Darlington stripes here this afternoon, but that might have been the race for the win. Unless the 31 can get clear and he's got something, and we can keep this thing green. I think RaceSpotTV just passed for your race win there.
Alan Dice in the wall as well. He's going to fall out of the top 5. Austin Hunter gets by him. Karikoff gets by. It's rare to actually see the right side of the trucks here because they are just ripping the wall, but there was quite a big stripe on the side of Alan Dice's truck there. Patrick Cowgill and Aren Gamushtal. The fight for second is on now. That was just a little bit of a bounce off the wall for Gamushtal, but I think it was a little less little than I thought it was, because he has absolutely fallen off the back of RaceSpotTV, and Patrick Cowgill suddenly has a little bit easier of a fight for second.
I think if you're the 4, and I'm not telling him how to race here, I think he's burning some stuff up. If you look at the difference back here, Kevin McGarvey, maybe they have a long run speed that we haven't seen so far. Maybe they got something different, but they're putting down some lap times that are in the ballpark. Kevin McGarvey's your second fastest driver on the racetrack, or third now. Steve Loving and Matthew Karikoff. They're 1 and 2, right? And they're 5th and 6th, so they're getting an opportunity to see this long run start to happen. But they're, in my opinion, they're 4 seconds back. They're going to need a caution to come out. Here we go, battle for second.
Here comes Patrick Cowgill, peeks to the inside, but it was all but a peek. Trying to spook Gamushtal into the wall again. Did not work out for him. He gets back in line. As these two run single file here, they are bringing that gap down to RaceSpotTV, so it's not going to consistently expand, I don't think. I think you may have hit the nail on the head exactly there, Terry. RaceSpotTV on that last lap starting to struggle a little bit. Gamushtal reeling him back in. Cowgill reeling him back in. Kevin McGarvey might be in the best position of anybody right now as he just rides in a bubble of his own, a second behind, a second ahead, a second and a half ahead. He just gets to run qualifying lap times right now.
I think he burned his stuff up too. I mean, he ran a 30.5 along with RaceSpotTV that lap, and I think Gamushtal knows this. I think he understands that RaceSpotTV is going to catch that lap traffic here in a couple laps. It's right in front of him. he's going to catch him at the worst possible time. He'll catch that lap truck as it respectfully moves down the racetrack. The battle for seconds on is here comes Patrick Calgo to the inside. He might catch that lap traffic at the wrong spot as the 21 sails it in the high side.
It's Colton Easterday down on the apron, staying well out of the way. Of course, he was going to stay out of the way of his teammate RaceSpotTV in the lead, but he does a very respectful job of getting down on the apron in 1 and 2, letting everybody by. Didn't spoil anything there. Cowgill maybe would have been a little bit more aggressive if he didn't see the lap car to his inside, but Colton Easterday doing a good job of getting out of the way. Next lap car is a few seconds up the road. Richard Pruitt will be the next truck that RaceSpotTV has to deal with, but for now, it's back to 1v1. Cowgill versus Gamushtal. Cowgill fades up basically exactly the same as Gamushtal. They're running exactly the same line through 1 and 2. Cowgill ducks a little bit lower. He's going to try and get the run down the back straight.
Well, now it's the two behind RaceSpotTV that seems like they burned some stuff up because they fell off massively. It's 30.8s for your leader. That's stretching this out. It's about to be 2 seconds here in another lap or so. It's 31.4s and 31.6s back here in second and third. And Kevin McGarvey is 0.3 faster as you look at that battle there. Steve Loving looks like he just got passed by the 00. But like I said, this has been an absolute battle of attrition. And what can the 31 do? Can he get his best finish of the season tonight?
Definitely needs to make quick work of Gamushtal, because even on that last lap, things have fallen apart just a little bit. About half a second slower than RaceSpotTV were both of these drivers. Cowgill peeks to the outside in turn 1 this time, tries something a little bit different. Can he even get to the outside of Gamushtal? No, he's going to get in the wall. Gamushtal gets in the wall as well.
Both of them smacked that wall. They were playing defense. And that doesn't work here as now Kevin McGarvey, here he comes. It's a three-way fight for second. They're $1 short because they're not catching the race leader unless a caution comes out. Lap 50 touches the board this time. This is Kevin McGarvey's opportunity. He has to go up here, get a spot. And if you're the 31 right now, you're going into 1. And I hate to tell you, but you got to move him. You got to move that 21 out of the way.
Gamushtal moving himself out of the way in the middle of the corner, stays out of the wall, but very, very wiggly. Gamushtal definitely feeling the pressure right now. This might be a better opportunity for him this week because it is a night race. It is night in France where Ren Gamushtal is right now. It's about 2 a.m. right now, I think, so maybe the times are lining up for him. Either way, he is feeling the pressure. Cowgill again just sticks to the back of him, can't peek to the inside, can't peek to the outside in turn 1, but he's never given up. He's never giving up the pressure on Gamushtal.
I mean, you got to keep the pressure on. You have to make him get a mistake. I mean, I'm not saying he should go up there and just punt him out of the way. Maybe take the air off the spoiler. Change the balance of that truck. Make Gabriel Gamushtal earn that second place finish. Because if you don't go take second, well, Kevin McGarvey's probably going to take third from you, and then he's going to go take second. You're just going to be still having the same fight 8 minutes down the road, but the leaders walked from you. You're matching lap times, but look at the focus here. Tongue's out. It's the eye of the tiger's here. When that tongue comes out, you know you're up on that wheel. You're hunched over a little bit. He's sawing that sucker. He's 10 and 2, elbows out. He's racing.
I think we almost had our caution a little bit ago. Alan Dice and Zach Panzarella got into a little bit of argy-bargy, but no harm, no foul, no caution for them. They are still hanging out there in P9 and P10, but they had a little bit of an argument. Patrick Cowgill, Ryan Newman still trying to fight back here. Next lap truck, that is Adam Smith. He is 6 laps down right now, so understandably he's going to get out of the way here. Kevin McGarvey and Steve Loving still riding onto the scene here. And remember, both of them are in completely pristine trucks with no damage right now. Gamushtal and Cowgill cannot say the same thing.
Yeah, but if you look at McGarvey's lap times, I mean, he's running about 2/10 off of what they're running in front of him. So that time by, they actually evened. It was a 5.42, a 5.56, and a 5.56. So, I mean, he's not catching. He's just staying stable at this moment. Steve Loving's actually caught him. Austin Hunter's catching them. So we're about to look from second all the way back to that 7th place position with Dallas Sullivan. And it's all because, well, they're slowing each other up. So they're letting everybody else come in here to fight it out. You might want to put the tongue out further there, Patrick, because you got to fight on your hands.
Gamushka was playing with inches with the wall. He got so close to it in 3 and 4. Got pretty close to it that time in 1 and 2 as well. We'll watch him through 3 and 4 this time. Look at the right side of that truck. You could barely put a sheet of paper between him and the wall. This time out, a little bit lower, a little bit more conservative. Doesn't get as close to the wall as he did last time, but a little bit further back, we do have side-by-side action because Dallas Sullivan, the fastest truck on track right now, peeks to the inside of Austin Hunter. Cowgill peeks to the inside of Gamushtal. Can't spook him into the wall this time, though. Gamushtal very, very high. He's still able to keep Cowgill behind.
Yeah, he was Willie Nelson high at that moment. He was all the way up on that wall and almost started smoking the tour bus. Not a good scene here at Darlington. If you're the 21, you're supposed to block. But at some point in time, that 31's got to go, you're not blocking me this time. I'm not checking up for you. You block at your own risk at Talladega, Daytona, and here. You block me, you gonna block me at your own because I'm not lifting. I don't care. I'm not I'm not the driver. Oh, he's in the wall hard this time.
Gamushtal, the hardest in the wall he's been in turn 2. He's going to lose second, he's going to lose third, and he's going to lose fourth to Steve Loving. Loving trying to get back on the track underneath Kevin McGarvey. McGarvey's going to hang on to third. Steve Loving still one of the only trucks with no damage in this pack. Gamushtal even more heavily damaged. He's going to have some trouble from Austin Hunter behind him because the right side of that truck still looks remarkably clean, but it's a good 2 to 3 inches punched in by now.
Yeah, and the sad part about it is when you damage that right side of the truck, you get to the spot here that it actually takes speed from you. So while you will have the advantage in the corners, you're not going to have the advantage. Austin Hunter's hard in the wall. That was a big stripe all the way through that corner. 3 and 4 has not been a good sight. He's got Dallas Sullivan breathing down his neck. Don't block too crazy here. Just, there you go. Get in the corner, get behind that 21, try to get a top 5.
Austin Hunter's trying to go high to get around the outside of Gamushtal, but in the process, he's kind of Gamushtaling himself. There's only so high you can get at Darlington. He peeks to the inside now. Can't quite get the run here. We'll see. Does he try and go to the outside again? No, he thinks better of it. Has a little bit of a bobble through the corner as they lap one of the Goffs on the bottom. He did put the bumper to him there just a little bit.
Well, I mean, that's what you got to do here. I know it sounds short track redneck racing.
Well, it checked him up. It didn't work at all because Dallas Sullivan's going to get to the inside of him. Sullivan and Hunter side by side through 1. Sullivan can't hold it on the inside, though.
Sullivan tried to make that pass 2 or 3 times, and it just has not worked. But what a race so far. I thought I stand corrected as I was only looking forward to Spa. These boys are putting on a whale of a show.
So all these guys continue to fight. Be no surprise, because Reese Bogue has pulled a 5.5 second lead over the rest of the field, unless we do get a caution. Or actually, if we do get a caution, Reese Bogue still wins the race, because we will end under caution if we do get a caution now with only 3 minutes to go. There goes Austin Hunter around the outside of Gamushtal. Dallas Sullivan tried to do the same thing, but got in the wall himself.
Yeah, that's the... Oh,
Gamushtal's pitting.
Yeah, he's hurt that car. He might have hit the incident points.
Has he meatballed himself? Well, actually, that is far more likely the incident limit, but that's 24 incident points to get a drive-through on the oval side, so...
we'll see what he does.
We'll see. Does he park it?
I think he would have stopped already if he was parking it. Is this a drive-through?
He's hit the wall a good couple of times, but those are only 2 X's. He is going to stop. Gabriel Loren Gamushtal does have to stop. Did he underfuel the truck?
I would hope not. Oh, that's bad. That's not good. I mean, that was a top 6.
That's got to be. That's the only thing I can think of. We've lost his fuel time, unfortunately, but he was only in the box for 7.8 seconds there on that stop. That tells me that was a stop for fuel. Gamushtal underfuels the truck, and he's going to have a 19th place finish currently to show for tonight.
That's 2 a.m. in France. I would be tired too. I remember waking up at 4 a.m. to do the 6 hours at Nürburgring. I was a little exhausted. I drank two energy drinks in the process. There's a lot of commotion back here of 13.
Robert Goff doing the locomotion with Chris Justice and Thomas Brendel. Goff just barely clear of Justice, who's riding a little bit damaged. He's going to fall to P14. But remember Thomas Brendel. I mentioned him a little bit earlier. Robert Goff, in the wall. Hard hit through turn 2. That's going to allow Chris Justice to get back by. But Thomas Brendel, I mentioned he was having the best run of his season in P13. Hit the wall. Fell back. He's now driving his way back forward. He's in the top 12. He's putting Adam Smith one more lap down. This is still the race of Thomas Brendel's season.
Yeah, I mean, you jinxed him once. We're not going to do it again. So top 12 finish here this afternoon. Well, unofficially, we'll see what happens in this last lap. But looking up and down this leaderboard, this is the kind of track that championships are won. And if you're Reese Bogue, I think you made a statement here, a big statement when he's coming to the white flag here.
Reese Bogue through turn 4, going to take the white flag with a 6.5 second lead over his closest rival. Gamushtal tried to fight him. Cowgill tried to fight him. In the end, everybody seemingly tripped over themselves. 1 1/3 or 2/3 of a mile, something like that to go for Reese Bogue at Darlington. Richard Regan Jr. cheering him on in the chat. The lap trucks are going to get out of the way, and this has been the drive of a champion for Reese Bogue. He's going to retake the championship lead here after tonight, and with 7 seconds in the rearview mirror, Reese Bogue is going to be singing, "Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, Darlington." Reese Bogue wins at Darlington.
I really could have went without you singing tonight, but I'll take that as a special bonus. What a finish for Patrick Cowgill. Steve Loving, 4th. Kevin McGarvey, Austin Hunter, your top 5. If you would have told me coming in tonight that was your top 5, I'd have said, let's double those odds. Let's make a bet on that it's not going to happen.
That's a pretty big day for Whataback. I mentioned in the team's championship they were having a struggle streak in the start of the season, but P2, P3, and P5, that's going to be a good points day for them. But it's going to be a very good points day for Reese Bogue. Colton Easterday, remember, he had a little bit of bad luck, got collected, himself and Dalton Geyer in a little restart kerfluffle. But Reese Bogue back on top. He won the opening race of the season, and he wins at Darlington as well. Very deserved donuts here. Kind of had a track to himself there at the end, but was still running fantastic lap times, faster than the rest of the field on the last lap. Reese Bogue actually ran the fastest lap of any driver in the field on the last lap. As if he didn't deserve the win enough, he showed everybody up there, and he got the fastest lap of the race overall as well. Woohoo. Reese Bogue wins at Darlington ahead of Patrick Cowgill and Kevin McGarvey. Steve Loving, I believe his first top 5 of the season, if I'm remembering correctly, and Austin Hunter, definitely his first top 5 of the season because it's only his second race of the season. Dallas Sullivan, Matthew Karakoff, Alan Dice, Stephen Hassett, and Keith Miller round out the top 10. Keith Miller coming from being disallowed from qualifying. Thomas Brendel got P11 at the line, his best result of the season ahead of Zach Panzarella. Chris Justice and Robert Goff rounded out the lead lap finishers. CM Pennington got into a little bit of trouble. He still comes home with P15. Cole Larson, Dylan Schmidt, 16th and 17th. Gamushtal hit the wall multiple times, didn't put enough fuel in the truck. One of our championship contenders, a bad day in P18. Jeremy Bailey finishes P19, and Colton Easterday did get back out there. He's only going to have a top 20 for his efforts. Adam Smith finishes 21st, 7 laps down. Richard Pruitt did bring it to the flag, 9 laps down. And then we get into the used truck lot of drivers with heavy damage. Dalton Geyer got collected on a restart. Jacob Emery and Garrett Austin had heavy damage. Oliver Goff went to space. Tom Amasi got landed on. And Joey Reynolds drove Darlington more like Joey Tebbin, getting in the wall at turn 2. 28 drivers in the field tonight, and there's about 28 drivers waiting to talk to us here. But first and foremost,
they love us.
Reese Bogue finally back on top, a 7-second lead at the line. What were you thinking in those last couple of laps? You were all on your own.
Yeah, I was just just trying to navigate my way through lap traffic. You know what I mean? It was heavy here, and tires were old and wore out, and I mean they were slick. So I was just trying to get through cleanly. I mean, I ended up clicking the wall once or twice trying to get through them, but in the end, all good, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, that was a pretty dominant race after we got by the 21.
Were you thinking back to last week at Hickory in that duel with Gamushtal there? Were you thinking he might have won last week, but I'm going to show him up this week?
Yeah, I mean he was good last week. I sent it a little too hard, started wheel hopping, and I kind of threw that one down the drain. So to come back this week and we're running with him again, and it was early on, and I'm like, man, I really didn't want to give up the track position, and I mean, I ended up giving it up, but then I think he made a mistake. I got next to him, and he ended up tapping the wall. And then like a lap or two later, he sent it in the corner. I thought we were both done, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, you see who's really competitive this year, or this season, I should say, in this league, and I think we'll have some good battles for the rest of the season.
Let's talk about the rest of the season. 6 rounds to go after tonight. Hartman will be back next week, I believe. Gamustal's not going anywhere. The whole rest of the field. A lot of wild cards coming up as well with the super speedways. How do you think the rest of the season's going to go?
Well, I hope it goes good. I mean, we'll see. I mean, tonight, I guess, my first ever poll, and I think we got some good momentum going here. Hopefully we can carry it on to the rest of the season, and I don't know where we're at in the points, and I believe we should be first. If not, hopefully we're closing in, and if we are first, hopefully we're opening up the gap, and we just keep doing that throughout the rest of the year.
Well, congrats on the win tonight, and we'll see you at Charlotte next week.
Yep, thank you guys. I'd like to give a shout out to Premier Racing Setups, Neonism, 09 Photography, my teammate Colton Easterday for running the night, helping us out, give me some info. Also Rich for giving me a little tips throughout the week. He's not spotting again, and I don't take the virtual plane to Spa, different country. I think he'll be back for the rest of the season, but we'll see what happens. But thank you everybody who supports us.
RaceSpo, your dominant victor tonight at Darlington. Driver who came up about 7 seconds short, but was certainly good on the tires. Patrick Cowgill, his best result of the season, and he gets rewarded with an interview with Terry.
It's about damn time, Patrick Cowgill. It's about time. All right. So you had a hard time getting around the 21 there. We showed your camera, your tongue was out, elbows were up. You were grinding that sucker. How hard were you having to fight that truck in the last portion of the run?
It was pretty good at first, but I kind of drove it off a little bit trying to get around the 21. I know I bumpered him a couple of times trying to tell him to get out of my way, but he wasn't taking a hit, so I guess it was getting a little tight there at the end.
Well, you saw the 7-second gap once you got past. Obviously, lap times fell off, tires started to fall off. You only ended a 10th off lap time wise of what he was running. So, what do you use this as for next week going into Charlotte? Do you use this as a leaping point, or do you use this as a consistent basis that you can hold on to that you finish second this season?
I use it as my confidence booster.
I like it. Are you going to go into Charlotte and win it?
I don't know about win it, because, I mean, there's a couple of guys that are good competition, but I'm hoping at least another top 3.
Do you want to practice during the week? I mean, we are Whataback teammates.
I don't really have time to practice with everything that goes on.
Well, I will come run some laps for you. I'll share my telemetry with you.
Okay.
All right. You got anybody you want to thank?
I got to thank my Whataback Racing teammates, SRT Esport, Miracle Flow, Gomez Sim Industries, RaceSpot Sim Racing, and then my sponsor this week, CTN NB1 Syndrome Awareness Worldwide. My daughter was diagnosed with CTN NB1 Syndrome, so I decided to run a sponsor to support her.
Well, I appreciate you. Congratulations on P2 tonight.
Thank you.
Patrick Cowgill, second place finisher, but his teammate Kevin McGarvey came home right behind. I believe for the first time here on RaceSpot, Kevin McGarvey in the interview chamber, and a solid P3 for you. I think you were the only driver in the top 5 who never got into the wall.
Well, thanks, guys. I'll just say it's nice to finally speak with you guys. I'll P3, I'll take that any day. And yeah, I've just tried to be careful, conservative, try not to burn my stuff up too much. Ended up doing it anyway, but at least I didn't wall myself. Too bad. I think I did it once, but it happens.
Yeah, we didn't see it, so that means it didn't happen. 6 more weeks to go, 6 more rounds. What are you most looking forward to? What do you think is going to most suit the Kevin McGarvey style?
Well, I'm going to miss the next 2 weeks, unfortunately, because I got to travel internationally for work. But I'm really looking forward to Las Vegas and Auto Club. I think they're going to be really fun races.
All right, enjoy the international travels, jet-setting Kevin McGarvey, and we'll see you in 3 weeks' time.
All right, take it easy, guys. Thanks.
Kevin McGarvey, P3 tonight. Maybe he's going to Belgium. Maybe he's flying to Spa. We'll have to wait and ask him. But Steve Loving is here first and foremost with Terry.
Steve, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Well, not doing as good as you. You got a top 4 finish here, and I know you said you wanted to win, but a top 4 seems pretty good. You go up here and you're mixing it up with these boys.
Hey, finishing top 5 at Darlington, that's a win. It was a good race. At least up front it was. You only got down to about 3 minutes to go. It was the longest 3 minutes ever. Truck was toast. Was trying anything to hang on. Austin saved a little bit in the last couple laps. He gave it a pretty good run. I was a little concerned he might get around me and slide me back to 5th, but the last lap I was like, I got to make this truck wide and see if I can just hold a middle line and block him, and it seemed to work. And fortunately, he didn't push it, and we both crossed the finish facing forward.
Yeah, it's a big point. I know when we talked earlier in the week, you said, you build more confidence. You're getting up here. You're starting to run better. Looking forward to Charlotte next week. Any changes you can kind of see? I believe it is the old configuration, Charlotte, or we go back in time at Charlotte, Joey?
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, so it's the classic one. So it's bumpy. It's got some grit, got some raciness, just like what Darlington has. You think you could take what you learned here and take it over to Charlotte?
I wish I could be a Charlotte. I have to miss next week. Charlotte's one of my stronger tracks too. I think I had a real shot at that one, but stars didn't align. I have to travel for something work related, but so I won't be there next week. But I will definitely be giving this a hard shot the rest of the season. But had a great time on this race. You guys do a fantastic job broadcasting. So hats off to the league, PRL. RaceSpot, SLI designs, there's so many out there, but I want to thank everybody for having a great time. You guys did awesome. I definitely had a good run this week, and hopefully we can continue that for the rest of the season.
We appreciate your time. Congrats on the top 5.
Thank you, gents.
Thank you, sir.
Steve Loving, P4 tonight at Darlington, and that's gonna round out the truck drivers for us tonight, because we have to catch a very, very fast plane. We're going supersonic over the Atlantic Ocean here, because we are gone from Charleston Airport and we have landed in Belgium, Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps, for the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series. It's our one road course round of the season. And because we sit in the real-life NASCAR off-season, we can go to whatever NASCAR road course or whatever non-NASCAR road course we want. And this season, it is Spa. Qualifying currently underway here, about 6 minutes left to go in the session. But this starts a very interesting trend here, or a very interesting sequence of races. We go to Spa this week, then we go to the Monza Oval next week, which is going to be chaotic in and of itself. The Indianapolis Oval coming up after that, a return to Rockingham, the Daytona Super Speedway, because we have to match back up with the NASCAR calendar in real life, and an Auto Club finale in the Xfinity Series as well. In the Drivers' Championship in the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series, it's been pretty close quarters up front. Elliott White and Abner Acosta, the two Precision Racing Esports drivers, separated by only 7 points, and they've been dueling for the past 2 weeks. 1 and 2 finishes for both of them, I believe, the last 2 weeks in a row. Danny Cervantes holding on to 3rd, though, and Bradley Holly breathing down his neck for 3rd. Jeff Evans and Thomas Sink make it Whataback 3, 4, 5, and 6. Brandon Walter for Private Label Team Hype P7. Michael Diaz, the 3rd of the Precision Racing Esports drivers, looking for a strong showing here at Spa on the road course. Adam Zemke and Jeff Hollingsworth round out the top 10 in the drivers' standings. But Precision Racing Esports 1 and 2 in the Drivers' Championship, number 1 in the Teams' Championship over Whataback Overdrive, Private Label Team Hype, Whataback Back Row, and Car Ramrod. Whataback Front Row trying to fight their way into the top 5. OGR Racing has a little bit of work to do. Precision Racing Esports 112 has kind of been a part-time team this season. They're tied with Riding Shotgun Motorsports Rangers, and Love Racing rounds out the top 10 in the team standings in the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series. But we're in the dying minutes of qualifying here at Spa, and we really need to see Xfinity cars at Spa, because you don't even have to say anything right now. You're seeing Thomas Sink in a NASCAR Xfinity Series Chevrolet Camaro driving under the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps sign. What more do I need to say?
Yeah, I mean, this is this is what a lot of people came to see. Spa is, I think it sells itself. I agree with you what you said in pre-race. It sells without having to sell. I watched the Whataback guys practice, And I will tell you that this is going to be a race unlike any other, and there's going to be a lot of people contending for this win.
We circled a lot of names coming in here. Of course, Sean Campbell, 10-time winner in PRL GT4 competition, multiple-time winner in GT3 competition, and, you know, first and foremost, above all of that, a pro-level esports driver, competed in virtual Le Mans a couple of days ago, competes in the IMSA Esports Series here on RaceSpot. He's definitely the lead driver here, but Abner Acosta, strong on the road courses. Michael Diaz, strong on the road courses. Bradley Holly, when he wants to, strong on the road courses. There's a lot of drivers looking to fight with Sean Campbell for this win.
Yeah, this is... I don't even know how to sum up how cool this is about to be. I'm excited to see what Sean Campbell does. There's a lot of talk about how good he is on road courses, and there's a lot of action that proves it, right? And then you look at the driver like Abner Acosta, very good at road courses. And then you look at the rest of this field, as you see a little loosey-goosey there in that 30 machine. Diaz, he's in the field. Elliott White's good on road courses. Bradley Holly's good here. I don't really think or know what we're going to see in turn one. That's going to dictate what this race does.
That is one driver who I neglected to mention. Elliott White, of course, finished on the podium last night in PRL GT3 competition, has a win in that series this season, so no surprise to see him in P4. Sean Campbell currently on pole by 9/10 of a second over Michael Diaz right now. This has been a little bit of a scruffy lap for Michael Diaz. We'll see if he can find any speed here, but he did seem to be drifting it quite a bit. Michael Diaz comes to the line. Can he find any of those 9/10 to close up to Sean Campbell? Crosses the line, and it doesn't look like he's going to improve. Still a 227.189. Lost a full second on that lap. Michael Diaz will stay second. Nicholas Hunter is here with us. Austin Hunter competing in the Truck Series. Nicholas Hunter competing in the Xfinity Series. And while we have a moment, we do have our 5th place finisher in the trucks, Austin Hunter here. Austin, we're currently watching another Hunter. We're watching Nick Hunter on track at Spa right now. How do you think he's going to do?
If he can keep all 4 wheels on the pavement, which sometimes it's hard for him, I think he might have a good night. But I'm definitely cheering him on. Some brotherly love tonight.
So you finished in the top 5, first top 5 of the season at Darlington. What do you think is more of a challenge? Do you think the trucks at Darlington were more of a challenge, or do you think the Xfinity car at Spa is harder?
Ooh, I'm going to go Xfinity car at Spa. At Darlington, we at least had the wall to bounce off of. Here, you got nothing.
Give us a prediction for Nick's final finish.
I'm going to give him a top 15 tonight. I think he's going to hold on and do all right.
Currently P17, so that's certainly a valid prediction. Congratulations on the top 5 in the trucks tonight. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. I just want to make sure I squeeze in a quick shout out on behalf of Waterback, Terry and his family. I just want to let them know how much we love them through this tough time, and thank you guys for having me on at the last moment.
Always a pleasure. Austin Hunter here, cheering on his brother as qualifying does come to an end here at Spa. 15 minutes of qualifying here, actually, because of the length of the lap time. Drivers were given a couple of extra minutes, couple of extra seconds to get all their laps in. But at the end of it all, highest road I rating in the field, 7,239. Sean D. Campbell. Don't know what the D stands for, but maybe it stands for de pole sitter. I don't know. I didn't think where I was going with that metaphor, but he starts on pole alongside Michael Diaz. 2 road course aces on the front row, 2 more road course aces behind with Abner Acosta and Elliott White. Bradley Holly, strong enough on the road courses, 2 seconds off Sean Campbell, though. He starts alongside James O'Brien, who's had a very strong start to the PRL season. Trent Dinkle, disappointing qualifying for him, I'm sure, off of his Cup Series teammate Abner Acosta, and Jeff Evans starts P8 alongside him. Dominic Olivier won at Spa, or came close to winning at Spa, rather, in the GT3 series a couple of seasons ago. He could only make it up to P9. He starts alongside a new name to the series, Scott Healy. Mark Kalin, P11, road course wins in the MX5 series in the PRL. He starts alongside Daniel Knight, who returns after missing a few weeks. Thomas Sink, unlucky 13th alongside Adam Zemke. Doug Evans alongside Colton Lane. And Nicholas Hunter, hoping to keep up the Hunter good luck streak tonight alongside Jeff Hollingsworth. 19th went to Ryan Traver, got his first top 5 last week at Chicagoland in that fuel strategy. And Jose the Funky Cold Medina, last driver who qualified 10 seconds off Sean Campbell. He starts P20. Then Charles Sumner, Jim Westerfield, Stacey Hunter, and Doyle Lawrence bring us down to 24th, all of them electing not to qualify, and that rounds out a 24-car field here in the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series at Spa. I just want this race to start. I'm glad it's a short pace lap here because we don't have to fill a full pace lap at Spa. 86 degrees Fahrenheit on track, not the hottest in the world, but we saw, even on that second lap in qualifying, Michael Diaz was already finding ways to slide around.
Well, this is going to give me a good time to plug. You're going to see a lot of slipping and sliding here. But this weekend's a special event on a road course, and it just so happened to be the Daytona road course with the 24 hours running here on RaceSpot for Split 1 and Split 2, first 6 and last 6 to Split 2, and then all 24 of the main. This is going to be much different. If you're watching right now, you're watching heavy stock cars, fuel tanks in the rear, really weird brake packages to slow these cars down. Downforce is going to be an issue. Rear traction is going to be an issue. Unlike what we'll see at Daytona with the prototypes, with the GT3s, with the different classes that we'll see throughout that mixture, it's going to be weird.
Sean Campbell on pole for the second time this season. Going to round the last part of the bus stop. He's going to check the field up. Michael Diaz awaits on the outside. But the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series at Spa is green, and it's not a very good start from Sean Campbell. Michael Diaz trying to go around the outside at Les Source for the first time. He might be successful. He's going to have the run around the outside. And at turn 1, Michael Diaz pounces early, steals the lead from Sean Campbell.
Oh, and 3 wide very rarely works in turn 1 here at Spa, but we'll see what they do up here.
Olivier up Eau Rouge side by side with James O'Brien. I didn't know if we were going to see side by side through Eau Rouge and Radillon, but we were basically forced to there. O'Brien's going to hang on. Olivier backs out, and look at Trent Dinkle trying to challenge down the Kemmel Straight. As Sean Campbell, speaking of the Kemmel Straight, he's going to challenge for the race lead under braking into Lake Calm. Is Sean Campbell going to get to the inside of Michael Diaz? Not quite this time.
Remember when I said that there's going to be multiple people fighting for this win? Well, right now, this is super close. I know we're only a couple laps in. You know, we're a lap in. We're a couple corners in. Here we go, side by side for the lead.
Campbell already dives to the inside through Bruxelles. I cannot tell you how strange it is to be saying these corner names in a PRL NASCAR Xfinity race, but Sean Campbell using them all to his advantage around the outside at No Name, using all of the track he's given and some of the runoff as well. He's not able to ditch Diaz, though. Into Pouhon, Campbell is clear. Campbell finally takes the lead back.
Yeah, he gets the lead back in that, shall we say, weird-ish looking car with the Nicolas Cage on there. He gets it back. He's going to try to pull away here. He's going to be able to see if Michael Diaz uses his tires up early. You saw right here in qualifying where he slid off the racetrack and got it. But we're 5 cars under a blanket so far, and we're almost through the entirety of a lap around this place.
Bad news for fans of Trent Dinkle. He's run into trouble on lap 1 once again, unfortunately. He's found himself on pit lane, currently getting a tow back to pit lane. And at Spa, that is a very, very long tow. We'll try and figure out what happened to Trent Dinkle, but this was a race that I think Trent had circled for at least the top 5. Showed so much promise. Beat Abner Acosta at the Charlotte Roval in the PRL NASCAR Cup Series. But it's all come undone for Trent Dinkle on lap 1. It's all gone well for Sean Campbell. Lap 1, he's already pulled his qualifying gap, 8 tenths over Michael Diaz.
Yeah, and this is going to be the biggest, one of the biggest keys of this race is maintaining distance. Tell me I'm dumb in the chat, but if you're able to maintain a gap here, that's half the battle. Because when you're challenging with the car, you're challenged with the track. But if you keep a nice distance in between you can afford a slip up or two. If he goes out here and takes a second and a half lead, that lets him bobble, through Le Rouge, lets him bobble in the Camel Straight, lets him bobble in the no-name corner. It gives him opportunities around this race course to make a mistake and still be able to capitalize on Michael Diaz.
Precision Racing Esports 2-3-4 right now. It's not quite the 1-2-3 they had last week at Chicagoland, but it's still pretty good right now. Scott Healy, not related to Matty of the 1975 or Tim of other British fame, but making his debut here tonight this season. Holding back Jeff Evans right now, 2 green numbered cars. Hoping to represent the green number gang. Evans peeks to the inside into Bruxelles. Can't force Scott Healy into a mistake just yet.
Yeah, it's a really tough corner to make somebody have a mistake. Because, one, you're trying to make sure you're not going to go off the race course. You also want to make sure that you don't punt them off the race course. I like this new scheme from that 51. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Miracle Flow. Really good shampoo. It makes your scalp feel like the breeze on a cool summer day. It's just going right through your hair. It's fantastic. But a top 10 so far for that 51 machine is trying to go up there and pick on the newcomer and Scott Healy, which is good to see new faces popping here in the PRL Xfinity Series.
We heard from Austin Hunter on lap 1. He said, "Want to see a big boy fly? Look at the 62 a few corners ago." I think that was a few laps ago, but I think Mark Kalin may have found one of those danger zones at Spa on the exit of Pouhon where you clip the little green turf area on the runoff, and it sends you for a little bit of a jump. So Mark Kalin's spine might be struggling a little bit, but he is still back on track. And we have heard from our old friend K-Dog. He says that Trent Dinkel hopped the curbs and got rear-ended by Mark Kalin on re-entry. So Mark Kalin may have been slightly involved in Trent Dinkel's outage.
Yet, doesn't that seem a little odd that maybe last week we had a Trent Dinkel Mark Kalin incident, and then we come here and
rivalry.
Yeah, Mark Kalin just so happens to punt Trent Dinkel after he comes back on track. Just, maybe not giving any room. Who cares? Who needs room? You're at Spa. It's the perfect place to get payback.
Daniel Knight riding pretty well here up through Eau Rouge and Radillon. It is so strange. Once again, I cannot overstate this. This is not the only time the PRL has come to Spa. We've actually done this a few seasons ago. Colton Lane and I believe Bradley Holly and James O'Brien were in that race many, many years ago. But Daniel Knight trying to represent these Xfinity cars at a place where they don't seem very suited. Tommy's Pub, another longtime sponsor of a PRL entry. Always good to see Tommy's Pub supporting Daniel Knight. He's going to hold back Scott Healy. As further ahead, Dominic Olivier. I mentioned he was probably going to be disappointed with his qualifying, with his road course prowess. He's actually just passed James O'Brien for P6.
Yeah, doing a really good job coming through the field here. Every time we come to a road course, obviously we talk about him. We feel like he's an opportunity to go win it. The crazy part about it is I wouldn't necessarily pick him to go up here and go in front of most of these guys that are in that top 5.
A little bit of the runoff being used. You're seeing the lengths you can extend at Spa. The off tracks rather do tend to accumulate pretty quickly here. You do get a little bit more leeway because this is an oval series. You get a few more incident points to play with. But Scott Healy playing with the limits of the track. They're going as wide as he possibly can. Healy is definitely getting held up by Daniel Knight here. It's just so hard to get in the rhythm and actually pass somebody because in these cars at Spa, they're so unsuited for it. It's almost like it's a single groove road course, and Scott Healy's desperately trying to find another groove.
Well, I would love to see somebody go to that outside and try to attempt to make that move. At the current moment, you're not going to see that. I mean, we're 3 laps in. We got 42 minutes to go in this race. Mistakes are going to be made. You're going to have to find it. Oh, there's a mistake. 6-4
there it is.
Clean around.
Daniel Knight gets punted by Scotty Healy, or Scott Healy rather. Healy's going to rejoin, finds a gap in the track. Daniel Knight, a little bit of a donut in the runoff. He's going to find himself right behind Scott Healy. Doug Evans is going to come onto the scene as well. But Evans isn't going to get by Daniel Knight. Knight is going to be within touching distance of Scott Healy. He might have a couple thoughts while looking at the rear bumper of Mr. Healy.
I would imagine so. As we take a look at the replay, he just completely locked it, missed it all the way through, got Daniel Knight there. Oh, and Daniel Knight's still falling down the running order. He just lost that spot there to Doug, and he's going to get that back because he's a lot faster than Doug Evans is at the moment.
Knight trying to fight back over Radion, over the hill, onto the Kevel Straight as Nicholas Hunter and Colton Lane also fight. 2 Whataback drivers. Nicholas Hunter was predicted by his brother to finish in the top 15. Where is he right now? He's in 15th, and he's going to go for 14th on Doug Evans, a teammate, under braking into Lake Com. Nicholas Hunter has a nose to the inside. Can't get Doug Evans offline, though, but Nick Hunter, he's not satisfied with P15 right now. He is showing the bumper to Doug Evans. Is he going to go for a dive into Bruxelles? Might be a little bit too far back this time.
Yeah, he's way too far back to make that dive and even try to make it work. His brother called a top 15, sitting 15th now. We don't want to jinx him. Colton Lane right behind him. Not too crazy. Jeff Hollingsworth sitting right there, waiting to capitalize on other people's mistakes. But this is the part of the field that you just capitalize on everybody else's issues. Didn't have a very good qualifying run. It's a lower car count than what we normally see over here on this side. It is a road course. People don't like to show up for them. We get it. Just lay low, stay in the weeds. In the moment something happens to somebody else, you go up and make that move.
We've settled into a little bit of a rhythm here. Mark Kalin and Jeff Evans, though, going to be fighting for P8 here. The draft not really having much of an effect here down this curved back straight at Spa. But Mark Kalin through Blanchimont, he is getting very, very aggressive. That's a fantastic run through Blanchimont for Mark Kalin. Is he going to send the dive on his teammate into the bus stop? No, he's not. He's going to get back in line. He's going to give his teammate some nice room. But Mark Kalin getting very aggressive early. We know he has quite a bit of road course prowess, but the driver he's racing with, Jeff Evans, no slouch on the road courses either. Has competed in the PRL on the road course side in GT3s, competes in the M-Tech series, in the majors, doing 12 hours and 8 hours and whatever in endurance races in GT3 machinery. Both of these drivers have a ton of road course experience, and it's going to be a Whataback Civil War for 8th.
Yeah, every time we show that camera, I see that UK flag, and it really upsets me knowing the foul. Look, hold on to her.
Evans loses it over Radion at the top of the hill.
Did he hit the wall?
He definitely did. That is a skewed nose of a Ford Mustang. Looks to be okay. It looks to be pointed straight, but that is definitely going to be damage from Jeff Evans. 10 minutes into the race. Tires are definitely struggling right now. I have a feeling that's not going to be the last time we see something like that over the top of the hill. Here we go. We ride on board with Jeff Evans. Clips the first curve at Radion, already getting loose, and then up over the hill.
Quick.
Bam!
He was on the gas very early. This part of the run, 5 laps on it, and 5 laps. That's all it takes around here to lose 2 seconds a lap. Like, you lose a ton of speed in these tires because this is a 2.5 minutes it takes to get around here. This is no slouch of a course. After all of these corners, the temperature being what it is, slipping and sliding, transitioning, trying to utilize every part of this road course, sweeping corners. It's a lot, and it takes a lot. Just 10 laps, and 5 good ones at that. Like, 5 good laps. I was tired. I was like, man, I don't know how they're going to do this. They're going to do this for, theoretically, 21 laps. Well, actually, it will be 21 laps because that's what it's the distance for. There's no caution. So 21 laps around here, and you have to stay perfect for 21 consecutive laps. You can't make a mistake because if you do, you're right back here outside the top 10 in 12th, like Jeff Evans with a crinkled up nose.
Daniel Knight putting the pressure on in the Tommy's Pub entry. We did just hear from Trent Dinkle in the chat, by the way. He said he parked it after that incident on lap 1. He said no Moss Xfinity, so I don't think he's very happy with this car. He might need a ticket to Tommy's Pub in a little bit, or at least a free tab.
I mean, if I could use a free tab at the moment. I'm not much of a drinker, but I could use one. Look at here, he's going to get a good run there at the last corner. He's not going to be able to make the pass down the straight here, but it'll at least give him an opportunity to put some pressure on you. If you're the 17, you've already gotten wiped out. You know, you already got popped by the 64, and now it's just can you recover? He'll get the pass here. I think that 51's down on power somehow. There's no way he's not. He just.
I mean, he hit the wall at a solid 100. I think he's definitely down on power, but up over Radion this time. It's actually Daniel Knight who has a little bit of a worry up over the top of the hill. Evans, though, it's a long straight. He's going to struggle in a straight line to fight back on Daniel Knight. I don't even think he's going to be able to think about peeking it to the inside. Jeff Evans going to stay back in the line here behind Daniel Knight. But Knight is sliding on that last lap. You saw him almost every corner. He was getting the rear end out. These tires are falling apart, and I do have to wonder, with lap times that are already 2 seconds slower than their fastest, I don't think we're going to do enough laps to pit for tires and make pitting for tires worth it. But I am thinking, we heard from Colton Lane in the chat about fuel. The last time we ran here in the PRL, of course, it was a different format. It wasn't a 50-minute timed race. It was a lap race. But a driver ran out of fuel at the last time we ran here in the PRL. Could people have to think about fuel? Could we be thinking about a fuel stop before the end of this race?
My race box told me that we should be good, but that was also 5 laps into it. Once the pace slows down, you should be able to save quite a bit. But if you go back there to Michael Diaz sitting in second, his fastest lap time around here was a 2:27.806. His last lap by for lap 6 was a 2:30 flat. That's a ton of fall off. I mean, you don't see that fall off in the IRO 4s. You don't see that much of a fall off in the GT3s. The slide there, that is absolutely the largest fall off I've seen here in a while.
Jeff Evans going to think about another shot here, but through Blanchimont, Daniel Knight strong enough on the recovery. Jeff Evans is going to fall back here. But Terry, we have questions about the fuel. Who better to ask than the current race leader? Let's dial up Sean Campbell. Let's distract him. He's got a big enough lead right now. 4.2 seconds over Michael Diaz right now. Sean, can you make it to the end of the race on fuel?
No.
No?
No. 10 liters.
Oh, you're right. I completely forgot about the fuel limit in this series. So everybody is going to have to make a fuel stop here. You heard it from the horse's mouth itself.
I mean,
but what are you thinking about right now? You 9/10 over the field in qualifying, 4 seconds over Michael Diaz right now. Are we doing a good job of distracting you? Can we slow you down?
I hope that you don't have to save fuel. I didn't really practice that. Jumped in the session and did a full stint to test the tires, and then just worked on single lap pace. But, I mean, I bet you could save a lot of fuel in this car. It does use about the same as GT3s, but I don't feel like you could save 10 liters in 50 minutes. Pat on the back to Michael and the gang if they do that, though, because that would be insane.
I mean, they did do that last week at Chicagoland. That's how the Precision Racing Esports guys got a 1-2-3. So I'm not going to count it out, but how strange is this right now? It's the Xfinity car at Spa. It's not unprecedented. It's happened on iRacing before, but it's still a very strange viewing experience for us, and I have to imagine it's still pretty weird for you.
It's like Trans Am, kind of. Like, the car is a little weird. It understeers through the left-handers and oversteers through the right, which is funny. But if the tires were a little bit more durable and you didn't have to save them, it would be a lot like Trans Am, I think. You just kind of slide around.
Might be more like Trans Euro if we're in Europe. Maybe that'll be the next series we invent.
Like Euro NASCAR, because they do road courses, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. If iRacing is listening, that's the one NASCAR car we're missing. We are missing the Euro NASCAR car, so I would love to see those added to the service. But there's 33 minutes left to go in the race, Sean. What are you going to do for the next 33 minutes? What are you going to be thinking about while you navigate around Spa?
Drive around. Hopefully, don't forget to blip. I did one time.
Well, why don't you walk us around a lap since you just started one here?
Oh, well, this car actually has really good brakes, surprisingly. So as long as you're not turning, then you lock up immediately. And it's all about corner exit. Like, you can slow it down really fast, but you have to be super careful on corner exit. The Erosion Radion is actually weirdly fast as well. I guess the compression keeps the car from oversteering. But the speeds you get up to are insane. Like, I think I'm going to hit like 280 Ks maybe, like quicker than GT3. But it's funny that the cars do just about the same lap time as like GT4s while being so much quicker to straight line.
By the way, 280 Ks, that's about 174 in American units, 174 miles per hour.
Yeah. You just got to be really careful through the corners, especially the right-handers. Like I said, left-handers, you kind of want to try and slide it on purpose to burn the right rear up because it is the most durable of them all. But the right-handers, you have to be so careful in order to not slide. Because I don't know, man. At the end of the stint that I did like a 2-minute 30, and then the next lap, I could tell the rear left was gone because I did like a 31.5. It felt the same. It just didn't have the grip, I guess, to accelerate. But a lot of it, since other than Eau Rouge and Radial, the car does not turn in very sharply. Just, you have to be really patient with it through the corners. Patient everywhere.
Looks very patient through Fania there. Have you accumulated any off tracks yet? I haven't seen you using any of the track limits, but it seems like you've been pretty clean.
I have one, and I'm pretty sure I got it. Let me think. It was either the exit of No Name, the exit of Turn 1. I don't think I got it through Eau Rouge and Radial. I might have, though. Maybe Blanchimont as well. Blanchimont's pretty hard to not get the off track.
What does going over the turtles there? I actually watched you stay on the grip right there. What does that help you do there down the straight?
The turtles?
Yeah.
Where?
You rode it all the way down the straight there.
Oh, on the left side?
Yeah.
Coming out of Stavolo?
Yeah.
It's just so that you don't have to turn as hard. You can accelerate better because you're going in a straighter line. Just save as much rear left as possible.
Just had to translate that in his head for a moment. We will let Sean Campbell get back to driving here, but a full lap of talking us around Spa here. I'm very disappointed that Sean Campbell's going to be too busy doing iRacing for the next who knows how many years because he's too good at it, because who better to bring into the commentary booth than a guy who can talk for 2.5 minutes about Spa. We'll definitely talk to you before the end of the race, Sean, and don't embarrass us.
All right, I'll try. Let me immediately crash.
Yep, that's definitely possible. That's what we hope happens when we're distracting him. Sean Campbell, 4 seconds in the lead of this race right now, but as we were talking to him, the one thing he wasn't doing was extending the gap over Michael Diaz. It has stayed at about 4 seconds. Diaz has actually closed it just a little bit, and he's pulling away from his two teammates, Acosta and White. Abner Acosta passed Elliott White early, but Elliott White trying to repay the favor, trying to steal that podium back.
Yeah, I mean, he stayed right there with him, and lap time wise, and lap time altogether doesn't matter because you can be good at different sectors of this racetrack. One person can be good in sector 1, sector 2, and then sector 3 can go to completely opposite. You can lose time in one corner, but then gain it the rest of the way, and that could make the lap time up around here. I mean, I lost time in No Name, and then I lost time going up Camel Straight, coming off the exit of the corner, going back into it. That whole straight right there, I was just so slow that I couldn't figure it out. Like, where was I losing all this time to not pick up speed there? But right now, Elliott White and Abner Acosta are right on top of each other all throughout this lap so far. They've been nose to tail, Camaro and Supra, which is still weird that they're teammates, but they're running total different cars.
Just observing the Supra as it navigates through Corb Paul Frere. It is quite the sight to see. Two teammates, as Terry said, in different cars, but I have to imagine they're pretty equal on the setups. They're pretty equal pace-wise. We've got some good BOP in the PRL NASCAR Xfinity series because they're basically dead equal here. All three drivers through the bus stop, running essentially the same line, and these two are actually catching Michael Diaz. Diaz might not be comfortable in second.
I don't think you're comfortable anywhere around here unless you are the race leader. I think everybody else is just here. And they're just trying to say, okay, we're ready to go. I mean, they pulled on Bradley Holly 16 seconds all the way up to the race leader. That's 11 seconds back. Now 12 seconds back from Elliott White to him. So a massive gap has been put on here, and that time by Elliott White actually lost a good bit there to Abner Acosta. So Abner's starting to find some speed like he normally does towards the latter parts of a run. We're halfway through this race. It has now faltered to 20 laps instead of 21. So I would expect if they're going to pit, you can pit whenever you want.
The tire wizard Abner Acosta doing tire wizard things. We're about halfway in the race now, and he's currently showing up his teammate. Last lap, he was 4/10 faster than Michael Diaz. Had a great run through Eau Rouge and Radion. Had a great run in the draft down the Kemmel Straight through the middle sector of this lap. When you really need the tires to be under you, Abner Acosta is putting the pressure on his teammate Michael Diaz, under braking into Pouhon. In some cars, it's just a lift through here, but in these heavy, lumbering stock cars, you do need to get on the brakes through Pouhon, and Abner Acosta not as strong as Diaz on the brakes there. He might be faster through the faster sweepers with those fresher tires, but on the brakes, he's not been able to match Michael Diaz. Through Fania, getting to his rear bumper now. Again, through those fast sweepers, it's working for him. He might have a shot through the bus stop if he can get a good run through Stavolo, through Cord Paul Ferreira. Abner Acosta is there. Can he get Michael Diaz into the bus stop? If we look a little bit further back, Jeff Evans, that looks like an equipment failure. Just instant lock up Eau Rouge.
Yeah, the mullet was waving in the winds over here, across the water, as they say in the South. But look at that shot right there on the turtle. What amazing shots RaceSpot gives. Hugo does a really good job giving us all the tools just to sound good. He can't make us look any prettier than we are, but he can make us sound really good. Look at that run Abner got. Elliott White actually got a really good run there too.
And Diaz overcooked it into the bus stop. Abner Acosta went for the switchback. He's going to peek to the inside of his teammate into turn one. Diaz not going to open the door, but he's going to go a little bit wide. Acosta, a little bit of oversteer on exit. He's going to lose the run here, but Acosta was very, very strong up Eau Rouge and Radion on the last lap. He might have a shot down the Kemmel Straight into Lake Como. If he can nail this, he's been far quicker than Michael Diaz up the hill. And again, it's a decent run for Abner Acosta.
Yeah, but he lost a ton of time coming out of the hairpin there and going up into there. It's like he just, when he oversteered it, he couldn't get it back to correct it, to get back on the gas, to allow him to get the run up the corner and going into Eau Rouge and them. There's no way he's going to make this pass without putting every single corner together. And he went really, really low down there. He got almost against the wall and just couldn't get the power back down.
Looks like Jeff Hollingsworth is the first driver to bring it down pit lane. He's the first driver to bite, and he is the first driver to kick off a pit cycle that Sean Campbell tells us will be required. Jeff Hollingsworth down on pit lane. Does he elect to take tires with the fuel, or is it just going to be fuel for Jeff Hollingsworth? Looks like it'll just be fuel for Jeff. No, it won't. He does go up on the jacks. Jeff Hollingsworth is going to take tires.
He got nothing else to lose. I don't want to sound like the meanie head that says it. I mean, if you're fifth on back, take whatever you can on pit road. Take something that can help you. You need something. If it's extra grip, if it's a little...
Oh, Nicholas Hunter loses it through last source. A little bit of target fixation, I think, as Hollingsworth left the pits. And Nicholas Hunter almost ended up in the pits himself.
No comment on that one, but to my point before he decided to spin, you need something. If you look back there, Mark Kalin's getting caught by Scott Healy. If you're Scott Healy and Mark Kalin, take some tires. Try to see if you can go catch James O'Brien, Dominic Olivier, catch one of these drivers, and see if those tires can play dividends.
Sean Campbell is in. Sean Campbell elects to pit from the race lead. Diaz, Acosta, and White stay out. And now the question is Sean Campbell going to come out in traffic? I'm sure he's been looking at the relative. I'm sure he's been counting the pit delta. It's about 38 seconds through the lane. Remember, that's not the specific time because you're not stopped for all those 38 seconds. Will he be able to find a gap, or will he end up somewhere behind Thomas Sink? I think he'll end up between Scott Healy and Thomas Sink. I think he will find a gap on track, but Abner Acosta is desperately hoping that Sean Campbell's outlap is a struggle, because right now he's struggling himself. He got to the back of Michael Diaz halfway up the hill and had to lift out of it.
he also didn't want to wreck him. I think that was a big point for them. Is don't wreck me just because you can. And he lifted off there. If he would have kept going, he probably would have turned him, and that wouldn't have been a good idea. I mean, you're 1, 2, 3 at the moment, and that is for the moment, because your overall race leader, once pit stops do happen, is sitting in 6th. Current leader sitting there with Michael Diaz. If you take him out of this race, then you're left with 2 options to go up there, and Michael Diaz might not be your best option. Maybe if you're Michael Diaz, let the 5 of Abner Acosta go in the easier spot to let the pass happen here at Spa. And give him a shot to see if maybe he could pull away and go catch Sean Campbell.
Bradley Holly has finally been passed by Dominic Olivier. This battle was kind of raging in the background. Olivier has been putting the pressure on Bradley Holly for the past 10 laps or so, and it has finally come to blows. Dominic Olivier finally gets by, and he looks at a 15-second gap up to the next driver, Elliott White. Sean Campbell's got to start getting worried now as well, because he came out right ahead of James O'Brien, avoided being in traffic behind him, but Sean Campbell is right behind Bradley Holly right now in the tightest part of the track where he's not going to be able to make the move. Every corner Sean Campbell spends behind Bradley Holly is holding him up.
Well, look at his face. I mean, he knew what he was doing. Bradley Holly's got enough.
The outside.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Holly locks up on the inside. Campbell's still going to make it work around the outside. I thought Holly was going straight into the side of Sean Campbell there. Campbell might have been more scared than us there.
I'm not too sure. I think we both kind of like flinched a little bit and like tensed up, like, oh no. They just might have handed this race to the 30, the 5, or the 27 as they all come in together.
Teammates all coming in. Abner Acosta trying to bring that gap down as much as he can on the brakes. And now these 3 wait. Sean Campbell did get held up just a little bit by Bradley Holly, but he almost instantly got by him. I don't think Sean Campbell has been held up to the tune of 6 seconds, but we'll see. Has Diaz, has Acosta, has Elliott White been able to save fuel? Elliott White overcooks the box, and Elliott White is going to lose a lot of time doing that. Sean Campbell peeks to the inside of Dominic Olivier. He's going to easily take the race lead from the Precision Racing Esports drivers, but he had to pass 2 drivers to do so, and Olivier and Holly going to stay out for 1 more lap. Diaz wins the race off pit road, but Abner Acosta is right there.
They lost a chunk of time. It's 11 seconds now. That's a lot. Like I can't count past 3. I know 11's a big number. And he was trapped behind Bradley Holly. Let's not forget that.
Remember the power of the undercut, because Sean Campbell did put tires on. He came in, 2 laps, 1 lap earlier than these guys. He made up a solid 5 seconds just on that undercut by putting on those fresh tires, and it has absolutely paid in Sean Campbell's favor. 10 seconds over Michael Diaz. Olivier and Bradley Holly have to come in soon. They're not going to be able to make it to the end of this race, and we will see the effect of that gap now. Sean Campbell was comfortable before. I hope he's not falling asleep. I hope he's not playing Bloons Tower Defense this time, as Abner Acosta, he's the driver who's going to get our heart rates up, clipped the inside of the track, and almost lost it.
That's uncharacteristic for that 5 to make a mistake. And if P3, if he ends up finishing 3rd, or P2, is the worst, that we can go, man, what's going on with Abner Acosta this week? This guy doesn't run 3rd. What are you talking about? I think that's a successful year. If this is like I guess if I have to drop a week, I'll drop that 3rd I had at Spa. That's a big deal. I'm just surprised at the gap that grew. I mean, that's insane. It was 7, 8 seconds, 6, 7 seconds when they come down pit road. It's a 4-second pickup by coming in a lap early and getting trapped behind slower cars.
You have to wonder if Michael Diaz is probably regretting right now, why didn't I come in that 1 lap earlier? I might have been able, even just in the short term, to beat Sean Campbell out of the pits. But Strategy comes, strategy goes, and right now Michael Diaz has bigger things to worry about, because even with that mistake from Abner Acosta, he is not going anywhere, and for the next 17 minutes, it is going to be Abner Acosta versus Michael Diaz for what will become P2. Dominic Olivier still hasn't pitted, still needs to pit eventually. He will eventually, but for now, these two fight over third. It will become second, and Abner Acosta tries to do what he couldn't do in the first stint.
Yeah, but now you look at Abner Acosta, he could be a little bit more aggressive. The last stint, he had Elliott White, his other teammate, right there on the back bumper of him. It was, quite a bit of a difference. The fact that Abner couldn't push too hard, because if he got out of sorts, it was going to allow the 27 to go up there and make that, go ahead and make that move and try to get to the inside and make him run more of a defensive line than what the 30 would have to run. So maybe we'll let Michael Diaz get away just a little bit. But this is just an excellent team performance. I mean, second, third, and fourth? But overall, once we do cycle out with Dominic Olivier actually coming out and pitting here, that's a pretty good team effort altogether.
By the way, we did hear from Doug Evans in the YouTube chat. He did confirm that what we saw up through Eau Rouge, that was an equipment failure. His wheel and pedals just died, completely died mid-corner, and that's going to be how Doug Evans' day at Spa ends. Jim Westerfield as well ran into trouble. Didn't see what happened to him, but he joins Trent Dinkle and Doug Evans as the drivers out of the race here. We tune back into Mark Kalin, who has found another one of his teammates in Mr. Jeff Evans. Evans has yet to pit. Mark Kalin has pitted, so it's not a battle for track position, but Mark Kalin still wants to get by Jeff. He doesn't want to get held up here.
What a run for Jeff and Mark at the moment. I mean, if you look at the gap all the way back to Daniel Knight, Jeff might be able to pit and be okay, and maybe he'll go down and get swallowed up back there to 14th Colton Lane, but let's say it's an impressive little mark here. And for Mark Kalin, he's had a crap season. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. He's just had a crap season, just like his Kentucky Wildcats. Yeah, they trumped my Volunteers last Saturday, but you know what? Season's not over. Season ain't over, but Kentucky's season's over. And they're going to have the same season that Mark's having over here in the PRL on Wednesday nights. They're both going to flop as Mark comes down.
Mark Kalin pits. That doesn't make any sense. Mark Kalin brings it down pit lane.
Did he drive through the box and didn't stop?
That looks like that might be what happened. He did just drive through the pit lane last time around. Has he already accumulated enough off tracks to get a drive through? I don't know. Mark Kalin does pit this time, so this is going to equal things out with him and Jeff Evans. I thought they were both off strategy, but now Kalin and Evans find each other on the same strategy. Mark Kalin's going to fall out of the top 10. Scotty Healy's going to take full advantage of this after his pit stop. He'll be able to take 9th when Jeff Evans pits. Mark Kalin's great race falls apart.
I can't say what his mouth just said. I would probably get fired and pulled from the Daytona 24 this week if I repeated what his mimicking lip reading said. So I will not say that. I will paraphrase it. He said bleep, bleep, bleep.
Well, I think what he said, Terry, is he's regretting moving into the Xfinity series, and he's going truck, truck, truck. That's what I should have done.
That's what he said. That's 1,000% what he said.
And he's saying truck, truck, truck again as he rally crosses it through Lake Home. It's all falling apart for Mark Kalin.
I'm not trying to get fired here on RaceSpot. It's not my strong suit, but they've caught Dominic Olivier up here for that second place position, so they're not going to need him to come down pit road to get around him. But what they're going to need to do here at this moment is hurry up and get around him, because if they don't, obviously they're already lost all this time. They're 9.6 back from Sean Campbell. If you get caught here, they did.
He's still not going to pit. Dominic Olivier is a teammate to these guys. Remember, he is a Precision Racing Esports driver. Despite the lack of paint scheme, Right now, he is probably not Michael Diaz's favorite teammate. He stays to the inside at La Source. Michael Diaz is liked the outside there, but Olivier slides it a little bit. Abner Acosta makes it 3 wide, slides himself. It's Precision Racing Esports 3 wide down the straight up to Eau Rouge. Eventually, they both swallow up Dominic Olivier, but we almost had 3 Precision Racing Esports teammates around at the same corner.
And I really think that was Abner Acosta's moment to get that going. And he didn't. He made the move to be aggressive, but then I think he realized that I'm going to wreck us. There's no way he didn't have that cross his mind that I'm probably going to wreck us if I do this.
Whoa, and there he goes off the road. Oh, and he wrecks his teammate. He rejoins the track, and his teammate, Dominic Olivier, he has to take to the grass again. Elliott White, that's critical. His championship rival, Elliott White, as Ryan Traver gets into a little bit of a parking lot argument back there. Abner Acosta and Elliott White, the top 2 in the championship. Abner Acosta has just fallen to his teammate and his championship rival.
Yeah, that was a slowdown right there. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, was it that light here that he went off and didn't really have to serve much? I mean, he's already right on the back bumper of Elliott White. He was only about 2 seconds back. The spin and then the off track, and then the off track again, missing, not getting hit again by Dominic Olivier. As you look at the replay here, off track, bam, right in the door.
Dominic Olivier's thinking, why didn't I pit? I could have avoided that. Bad luck for Dominic, who was en route for a top 5. Remember, he passed Bradley Holly before he went on this strategy. Speaking of Bradley Holly, he's just been passed by James O'Brien, who's turned things up later on in the race through Pouon. James O'Brien peeked to the inside. He's going to be up to P5 now when Dominic Olivier inevitably pits.
Good run indeed. I mean, got a little nose damage. Nothing that a little duct tape won't fix. A little crunched up nose, but you're at Spy in the Xfinity cars. You do whatever you want, you know what I'm saying? As Bradley Holly almost goes off track there, and you don't want to eat that sand here. You put a tire or 2 off in that thing, and you're going to the wall really fast. I learned that the hard way, Joey Tebben. See, I was faster than you at Darlington. You take me over here, and you're walking the floor with me.
Yeah, if it's based on Long Beach, I think I might agree. But you actually have a lot in common with James O'Brien because he's kind of hardened his road course skills recently. In the IRO4 series, in the PRL, his go-to was always starting from the back of the grid. He never qualified. He was trying to improve his racing abilities. He always started at the back and drove his way forward in the field. He actually got a top 5 at one point for his efforts doing that. And all those skills in those tiny little open wheel cars that weigh all of 5 pounds with that carbon fiber, it's definitely applying to James O'Brien's road course skills in this.
And I had somebody ask me the other day, why are you embarrassing yourself on Thursday nights? Like, why are you going out there and racing in the PRL in the IRO4 series and just making a fool of yourself? You're just embarrassing your credibility as an announcer. I beg to differ. How can I work at RaceSpot, who is a open, road first type style broadcasting company? How can I come over here and say, I want to help be a voice at these special events? How do I go call the Nürburgring, and I call Daytona, and I go call Watkins Glen or whatever? I call one of these road races. How can I be credible to RaceSpot if I don't know the road side? I can be credible on the NASCAR side, but then I just get labeled as the stupid NASCAR guy who comes over here and talks ovals all the time and talks big, heavy stock cars and trucks with people with beer guts and a mullet. No. Why can't I be a diverse? I'm going to make a fool of myself for the first season. I'm going to look like an absolute moron out there on the racetrack. And you're right. I do look dumb. I don't know how to race those cars, but I'm willing to tell you I don't know. And that takes a lot at a James O'Brien to come out, race there, take advantage of learning the skills, understand the braking points, understand the different dynamics of these cars. And it translates here. I didn't just jump in a dang IRO4 and go, I'm going to be great at this because I'm good at NASCAR. No, I'm good at NASCAR, just like these guys are good at road racing in every asset of it because they started somewhere. They started in the GT3s, the IRL4s, and they started in the redacted cars, the ones we can't say. They did a lot to work themselves up to sitting here battling for a top 3 podium finish.
I think you may have just rivaled Sean Campbell there with the longest anecdote of the race, Terry.
I had to get it out because
get it off your chest. Get it off your chest. It's a long lap here at Spa. We got a lot of time to fill here, but right at the end of that, Elliott White did just make a critical error at the bus stop. Abner Acosta finds himself to the back of his teammate. These two have, oh my goodness, Abner Acosta's going for some rallycross. He tried to go to the outside of the Kemmel Straight. Elliott White said, I'm not going to let you go to the outside. I'm already on the outside. I'm already on the racing line. Abner Acosta did a very good job of not getting into the wall there. Well, that was scary.
He was just like Travis Pastrana, except more talented in a race car. No offense to Travis Pastrana. I don't know why he's in the Daytona 500 or even attempting it. Stay on dirt bikes and stay on a rally cross, something not here. That was an excellent save because that could have been really bad to get pushed off into the grass and the dirt there, and to be able to not clobber that wall and only lose a second. That's ridiculous.
Their teammate Dominic Olivier, by the way, has still yet to pit, and that tells me that he's probably trying to go to the end of this race, and that's probably his only hope right now. If he does pit, he's falling basically to P8 behind Scotty Healy. Jose the Funky Cold Medina going for a little bit of rallycross of his own there just to get out of the way of Elliott White and Abner Acosta. I guess if you got a few extra incident points to spare, might as well use the grass to get out of the way. Jose Medina out of the way, out of mind, and Abner Acosta tries to set his sights on Elliott White again.
Yeah, I don't think he's not getting caught. I mean, they got 4 minutes. That's 2 laps. No way. Well, he might catch that white flag to have to complete 21. 21 just popped back up on my scoring. I don't know if it did on yours, but at the pace that he's putting down, yeah, they're going to touch lap 21 here. They're going to go the full distance because it's lap 19 here. We'll cross this line at, what, 2 even?
Well, Terry, we don't have to do any math because I know exactly who I can ask. Race leader Sean Campbell, are we gonna have 2 more laps to go at the line or 1 more lap to go at the line?
I think 2.
Well, you're kind of in control of the pace here. You got about a 10-second buffer. Are you gonna play with that? Are you gonna show your hand here? What's gonna happen?
I'm just gonna drive around. What was funny?
Just drive the cars in the circle.
I gotta know what was funny. I heard somebody laughing.
I'm laughing because you just said that you're just going to keep driving. I thought that you would have said, yeah, I'm going to back it up and play with the pace a little bit.
Well, he's like Harry Styles. You got to just keep driving.
Yeah, I got no reason to play it safe, considering that's what I've been doing the whole race. If I go out of the groove now, it could be more dangerous.
Have you heard the new Miley Cyrus song by chance?
No.
It's really good. I recommend it. It's called Flowers.
I saw her, the first musical performance I saw in 2023 was Miley Cyrus and David Byrne doing Everybody's Coming to My House on NBC. What a way to kick off the year.
I recommend it.
You might be able to listen to that before the race is over. 3 minutes 43 on the clock. That was about a 3-minute performance. Pull it up on the phone.
YouTube.
All right, get back to driving, Sean Campbell. We'll check back in. We'll see if you take the white flag this time or 2 to go. Sean Campbell comfortably in control. I did hear from Arjuna Kankapati telling me to distract him, make sure he's off his game. And I tried my best, and it didn't work.
Arjuna, come on,
He was about to get on his phone and look up David Byrne, Miley Cyrus, Everybody's Coming to My House while he was halfway through Fania.
That's fantastic. Arjuna's actually the... Obviously, he's the lead for the 24. Joey, me and you get to work together in the 24 Saturday.
Indeed. Previewing that a couple of days' time. We've actually just lost live timing, unfortunately, as Sean Campbell crosses the line. So it will be a mystery. He's going to cross the line. No, it won't be a mystery because I see Mr. Barney, the flagman, with the white flag in hand. We are in French, or in Belgium, rather. So I guess it's It's Barnet, the flagman, something like that. I don't know. There's a Bernard, the flagman. I'll say that. There's your real French name. Sean Campbell takes the white flag, just like France has done many times. We're in Belgium though, and he's gonna take the white flag here. One more lap around Spa.
This has been everything I thought it would be, minus more people fighting for the win. Sean Campbell, like the GOAT of road racing. Shocking to me that Nicolas Cage has led more laps at Spa than Jimmy Johnson.
We may actually have to tune back into that Abner Acosta-Elliott White battle for a few moments, because that has not yet resolved itself. Abner still putting the pressure on Elliott White, still desperately trying to steal third place back, but this is the last lap. These are his last chances. Out of Lake Com, Abner Acosta going for a switchback here down the hill. He's putting the pressure on Elliott White, and he knows he's running out of time.
He is running out of time.
But White overcooks it through Bruxelles. Very, very wide. Got the momentum on the exit, though. Acosta not able to take advantage, but he's putting the pressure on. This looks like Darlington.
Yeah, I still think Abner's telling himself, hey, if I'm going to pass you, I got to pass you cleanly. I can't go up here and just wipe you out. That would have been a moment that they probably would have wiped each other out. So if you're Abner Acosta, you have to make this look, flawlessly. You have to be able to go in, make a really good pass. Don't Boris set it and sail it in there and just wipe anybody and everybody out. Or if I guess for NASCAR terms, don't Brian Vickers it or Juan Pablo Montoya.
As a fan of Boris said, I wholeheartedly endorse Abner Acosta Boris setting it, but maybe not by the rules of the rule book. We do have to look a little bit further ahead. Abner Acosta falls by the wayside here. Elliott White will likely finish in third place, but Sean Campbell never looked back on the brakes into the bus stop for the final time. It's been a day at the Spa for Sean Campbell. He might deserve a nice bubble bath after this. A nice drift in the Toyota Supra, and the Nicolas Cage entry drifts across the line. Sean Campbell wins for the first time on Wednesday nights. First NASCAR Xfinity Series victory, not his first win in the PRL. He has more than enough of those in total. This is Sean Campbell's 14th win in the PRL, tying him with Vincent Trepignet, strong road course driver. Michael Diaz comes home in second. Elliott White does hang on to third after a fierce battle with his teammate Abner Acosta. And Dominic Olivier, he's in danger of losing this spot to James O'Brien, but he has not stopped in a race where everybody thought fuel was required. James O'Brien's going to blow by him. I think Dominic Olivier is out of fuel, but he's going to try and make the line on 0 stops. Oh, he's cutting the bus stop. He's going to serve his slowdown by taking P5. He's going to have to serve it before the line, but I think he realized I don't have enough fuel here to make it to the line.
He's
but
out.
in serving this slowdown, I think he's going to slow himself too much. I don't think he's going to be able to make the line.
Yeah, he's dead. He's out. Bradley Holly's going to get him.
Holly gets him. Scotty Healy gets him. It's going to be a photo finish between Bradley Holly and Scott Healy for 7th and 8th there. But Dominic Olivier did make the line. It's the first white line that counts. And Bradley Holly did just barely beat Scott Healy to P8 there. Daniel Knight comes home P9. And Jeff Evans, remember what he did into the wall at 100 miles per hour over the top of Radion, brings that car home in the top 10 still. Thomas Sink going to come home in P11. Mark Kalin, a tough day for him in P12. The field did spread out quite a bit. It's a long lap. But we had a lot of finishers here. Only 3 drivers didn't actually bring it to the flag at the end. Westerfield, didn't see what happened to him. Of course, Trent Dinkle taken out on lap 1, and Doug Evans had a technical failure. But other than that, that was a marathon for 21 drivers.
It was a marathon for us. I'm out of breath. I coughed half of that show.
I'm really craving some Belgian frites right now with a little bit of mayonnaise. But Sean Campbell, your victor at Spa dominantly over Michael Diaz. Elliott White brings it home in P3, and Abner Acosta brings it home in P4. Precision Racing Esports 2, 3, and 4. James O'Brien for private label team hype P5, and Dominic Olivier might have a little bit of an investigation after the race with that jump of the bus stop, but he did bring it to the line in P6, and he did legitimately get P6. I believe he did serve his slowdown. I think. I don't know if he's going to get a penalty for that. Bradley Holly, P7, with a photo finish with Mr. Scotty Healy in the 64, Daniel Knight and Jeff Evans, the top 10. P11 went to Thomas Sink over Mark Kalin, Adam Zemke, Jeff Hollingsworth, Colton Lane, and Charles Sumner rounded out our lead lap drivers. Stacey Hunter and Doyle Lawrence went 1 lap down. Jose the Funky Colt Medina and Ryan Traver went 1 lap down. And last but not least, Nicholas Hunter, not quite a top 15 for him. He brings it home in P21, 1 lap down. So Austin wins the Hunter battle tonight. Jim Westerfield, Doug Evans, and Trent Dinkle, as I mentioned, all ran into trouble. They are the used car lot tonight. But you know what? We've talked to him enough tonight. Might as well talk to him again. Sean Campbell, welcome back. It's been like 2 minutes since we last talked to you, but you just won at Spa. You got your first NASCAR win in the PRL.
Yeah. It was great. Spa's awesome. And I totally did not spin out in the pit lane on my cooldown lap. It didn't happen.
Well, you're lucky we didn't see it. You're lucky we didn't see it. That's 14 wins in the PRL now. It's a road course win. We saw your oval prowess in a couple races earlier this season with that battle with Richard Regan Jr. at Darlington. We got 6 rounds to go. You missed last week. How does the Sean Campbell Championship look now that you got your first win?
I'm just in it to have some fun with the Xfinity cars, but it'd be fun to get a championship, hopefully. I don't know how close it is, but I feel like I'm up there. I feel like I've finished relatively consistently, besides Chicagoland, because I didn't own the track.
You didn't own the track. That's boo hiss. We'll have to buy Chicagoland for you next season.
No, it's fine. I'll buy it next time.
And last question. The bowl is still there. It's the Lucky Bowl with the Lucky Spoon. What was in that bowl before the race?
Which bowl? That one?
Yeah.
You can see that?
Of course.
Chicken noodles.
Chicken noodles. The dinner of champions, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I guess.
Congrats on the win tonight. We'll see you wherever the heck we are next week. Daytona, Talladega, something.
Monza.
Charlotte.
Monza Oval.
Of course, yeah. It's Monza Oval next week.
With a pit stop. I've never pit stopped at Monza Oval. Does it have a pit lane?
It does. I ended up in that pit lane. I did one of those races last week, and I was in space, and I took a tow. But we'll see you next week. Craziness of Monza Oval. We'll see if you can go 2 for 2.
All right.
Sean Campbell, your victor at Spa tonight. Second place at the end of it all. Kind of a quiet night for him as his 2 teammates went to Civil War. Michael Diaz is with Terry.
Yo, Michael, what's up, man?
What's up, Terry? Don?
I'm here. I'm having a good time. You finished second here at Spa. That 30 machine looked really good, but it didn't look good enough to win. What do you do to fix that next week at Monza Oval?
Probably pray or something. Not much you can do. But today was alright. I beat Abner, so that's good. Through Abner again. Yeah. And it was a handful for sure. That wasn't fun at all for me. But I managed to get it to the end. The 13X didn't help. I think we should have got more. But yeah, it's whatever.
You gonna win next week at Monza Oval?
If I pray hard enough, I guess. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I mean, through Christ, all things are possible. So, you never know. You really never know. Why do you want to beat Abner so hard? Your teammates.
Well, he took all Don. You saw that? That's dirty, man. That's dirty.
He did technically take out.
Yeah.
I was.
Because he always goes into the Discord, doesn't help me out. I don't know what I'm doing here. So he said he helped me through the season. He hasn't done that. So yeah, I would just want to be.
Inter-teammate rivalry. We'll see you at Monza Oval, Michael Diaz.
All right, guys. You can take care. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Monza Oval is going to be an absolutely insane show, but this was an insane show as well, and we're not done yet. Elliott White, it is Spa, so of course we have a podium. Elliott White, 3rd at Manicore last night, 3rd at Spa tonight. It's been a week of podiums for you.
Yeah, it's been a season of podiums. I actually am keeping track. Except for the Spa DNF, I've been on the podium every single time. I feel like I've talked to you guys a lot, but it's good. It's nice. It's really nice.
And you had a pretty good night tonight championship-wise because Abner had a little bit of a scruffy night, ended up ahead of your championship rival and teammate at a track where he might have had a little bit more pace. You managed to take advantage of a few extra mistakes and extend your championship lead.
Yeah, I think, we were all having fun talking with each other through the race. I think he probably could have made a move on me and passed me in there at the end. If he had the X's to spare. I didn't realize he didn't have X's to spare, but yeah, we were just messing around. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the championship, it works out for me. It's nice that we finished like close together since we were both kind of messing around, or all of us in a way.
So it's the big wild card next week. It's the Monza Oval. We've all tried it at some point. It's going to be absolutely insane. Do you have any expectations for next week? Can you have any expectations for the Monza Oval?
I have no idea really. I have never seen the track. I mean, I've seen it, but I've never raced on it. So, and it looks kind of scary. But we'll see. I'm worried about hitting the wall that I see people hit all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of attenuators and things sticking out. So hopefully you're not the first one who hits them. Congratulations on the podium tonight and the podium streak, and we will see you, well, not next week. We'll see you on Tuesday night first next.
Thank you guys. Appreciate the broadcast.
Elliott White, your third place finisher tonight. Intra-team rivalries, Terry. Crazy stuff. A dominant performance up front. And that's about it for Spa tonight. Next week, we hinted at it. We heard from the drivers. We go to the Monza Oval. The left-turning oval, of course, but I don't know if you've driven any B-fixed races at the Monza Oval in the last week, Terry, but it is terrifying. It is hard to survive. It's tight. I have no idea what we're going to see next week, but I know it's going to be chaos.
I know better. I don't want my oval rating to go down any more than it has. So we'll keep it where it's at, and I'll stay on my road course kit here for the better part of 2023. So by 2024, I look like an absolute baller on these road courses.
Well, we'll hope you'll join us for the Monza Oval and for the PRL NASCAR Truck Series going to Charlotte next week. But this is not the only night of PRL action. There's IRO4s and F3 coming up on Thursdays, PRL NASCAR Cup Series on Sunday, GR86s and GT4s on Mondays, a GT3 doubleheader on Tuesdays, and of course, the PRL NASCAR Xfinity Series and the NASCAR Truck Series on Wednesday nights. We hope you'll join us for any and all of those. But I've been Joey Tebbin. Terry Radford has been Terry Radford. Our producer has been Hugo Luis. Until we see you next time, so long.